In a global mutation, all living beings have a chance to awaken powerful superpowers, but I awakened as an idiot. Strangely, instead of mocking me, everyone frantically clung to me, simply because I couldn't communicate normally with the activated system. The system was forced to evolve into its strongest form, capable of transforming any item in my possession into a powerful tool, thus beginning my mindless, cheat-like life. At this moment, the system was dancing wildly in my mind. Warning: an assassin is sneaking in through the window. Please leave the room immediately. Hearing this, my eyes lit up. Great. Finally, someone to play with. So I opened the window. Upon seeing this, the system immediately emitted a sharp, piercing roar. I told you to run, not to open the window to welcome me. I looked down curiously and indeed saw a person hanging from a rope by the window. The assassin, seeing himself exposed, wanted to turn and run, but I immediately stopped him. Don't make a sound. I'll cover you. If those tall guys outside find out, you're in trouble. Although the assassin sensed something was wrong, he still leaped silently into the room. He cautiously scanned the room and found that I was indeed alone. He was overjoyed. It seemed the intelligence was correct. This young master of the Xiang family was indeed an idiot. Then he took off his mask. Today I'm in a good mood, so I'll let you die knowing why. I'm the 250th ranked assassin in the Assassin Alliance. Someone's offering 300 million for your life. He then pulled out a dagger from his pocket. Seeing the knife in his hand, I wasn't scared at all. Instead, I pulled out a Peppa Pig water gun from under my pillow. So you want to play cops and robbers? Great. Don't move. Hands up. Seeing this, the assassin sneered. Die, you little fool. As soon as he finished speaking, he lunged at me. Just then, the system's mechanical voice announced, "System enhancement activated." The purple water gun has transformed into a high-pressure water gun with unlimited water flow in my back seat. Without hesitation, I pulled the trigger. Take this, a righteous water cannon. A powerful jet of water shot out, accurately hitting the assassin in the chest. The huge impact directly killed him. The assassin was sprayed through the air and slammed against the wall. Dizzy and disoriented from the water, he thought, "What brand of water gun is this? How can it be so powerful? Stop hitting me." I surrender. I was having so much fun. Suddenly, a rapid knocking sounded at the door. "Young master, are you alright?" "What's that sound inside?" the system exclaimed. The system seemed to see a savior. "Host, this is a golden opportunity. Quickly call the bodyguards in and grab this assassin." I shouted towards the door. "I'm playing with a water gun. You don't need to worry about me." In that instant, the assassin, who had been pressed against the wall, vanished. The system immediately detected his location. The assassin had hidden in the bathtub. "Host, go and deal with him immediately." I thought, "Whatever makes you happy, host." Hearing this, I grabbed the water gun and excitedly ran into the bathroom. The assassin was lying flat in the bathtub. He decided to lie there for a while. But just as he was pondering his next plan, a cold gun barrel was suddenly pressed against his forehead. "Your hiding place is terrible. Your hide-and-seek skills are awful." Before he could react, I pulled the trigger again, the high-pressure jet of water pinning the assassin firmly in the bathtub, leaving him no strength to even get up. Every time the assassin peeked out, I'd spray him with water. This went on for countless times until the assassin's mental defenses finally crumbled. "Help! Someone save me!" The bodyguards outside heard the commotion and rushed into the room. "Young master, what's wrong?" the assassin cried. He desperately clung to the edge of the bathtub. "Your young master is all right, but I'm the one who's in trouble. I'm going to drown." Just as the bodyguards rushed in, the system's enhancement effect also coincided. The malfunctioning water gun instantly reverted to an ordinary toy. The bodyguards only saw a burly man dodge and weave in fear at my toy gun. Seeing this, the bodyguards exchanged glances. This guy must have escaped from a mental hospital, they wondered. The next day, my father, Xiang Changfeng, already knew about the assassin's intrusion the previous night. He looked at me with worry. The Xiang family's market value had already exceeded 100 billion, making them frequent targets for kidnapping or assassination. He himself was suffering from cancer and had less than a year left to live. His biggest worry was me, his silly son. So he walked to my side. "Son, wait a minute. Dad will take you to a great place." Hearing that I could go out and play, I immediately turned off the Peppa Pig video that was playing, quickly packed my things, and prepared to leave. Soon, the Rolls-Royce convoy set off in a grand procession, but before they had gone far, the lead car slammed on the brakes, bringing the entire convoy to a halt. The driver immediately turned around and reported to headquarters that there seemed to be a traffic accident ahead. "I'll go check it out right away," I said. Just then, shouts of help. "There's a tiger eating people," came from the crowd ahead. A huge tiger easily overturned a car. Immediately afterward, the system issued a warning. "System warning. A Class B mutated creature has appeared ahead. Extremely high danger. Host, make your escape immediately. Hearing this, a flicker of excitement crossed my eyes. Where's the tiger? Let me see. At the same time, Xiang Chongfeng's heart skipped a beat. Damn it. Something must have mutated. Son, don't be afraid. The people from the Special Abilities Bureau will probably be here soon. Let's stay where? The car is the safest place, he said, turning to comfort his silly son, only to find the seat next to him empty. He froze, thinking, where's my big son? At that moment, I transformed into the most dazzling figure in the crowd, charging forward against the scattering masses. Soon I saw the tiger and went straight to it, reaching out to grab its whiskers. As the saying goes, you can't touch a tiger's backside, but that doesn't mean you can't pull its whiskers. The tiger was clearly angered by my actions and immediately roared, preparing to attack. But I dodged to the side, grabbed the plush toy in my arms, and threw it. You want to fight me? Go, Pikachu. Immediately, a system notification sounded, activating the possession function. Pikachu was revived and gained battle abilities. In midair, the doll actually came to life. Almost simultaneously, the tiger slapped at Pikachu. Pikachu didn't dodge its signature lightning bolt, tail suddenly lit up, a blinding flash of electricity striking the tiger's body. The tiger convulsed and then collapsed, wisps of smoke rising from its body, even filling the air with the aroma of roasted meat. Then, Pikachu jumped back into my arms, transforming back into its doll form. When Lin Zhou, the team leader of the Supernatural Abilities Bureau, arrived, he saw me standing on a mutated tiger that had been roasted. Xiang Chongfeng rushed over anxiously, only to breathe a sigh of relief upon seeing me unharmed. He was then speechless with shock at the sight before him. You did this. I proudly puffed out my chest. Yes, I did it. That tiger was too weak, utterly vulnerable. Seeing this, Lin Zhou immediately stepped forward. I saluted Xiang Chongfeng. General Manager, this is Lin Zhou, the captain of the Superpower Bureau. If I'm not mistaken, your son is an awakened ability user. Hearing this, Xiang Chongfeng was incredulous. Him? Are you mistaken? Lin Zhou's gaze fell on me. Some awakenings are accompanied by physical or mental changes. We have precedents in our bureau. Why don't we go back to the bureau with you for a detailed examination? Even if not, we have top medical experts in the country who might be able to help your son's condition. Hearing this, Xiang Chongfeng's heart stirred. Considering that the Superpower Bureau was the safest place in the world, this might be the best place he could arrange for his son before he left. So he nodded solemnly. All right, then I'll trouble you, Captain Lin. After arriving at the Superpower Bureau's Research Institute, I looked around curiously. Just then, the examiner, Lin Shui, came over with a bracelet. I put this on, and my eyes were instantly drawn to the big watermelon in front of me. I quickly poked it with my finger. It felt pretty good. Seeing this, the male team members present all gasped, while Lin Shui froze, her cheeks instantly turning as red as a ripe apple. Perverted Lin Zhou. He quickly pointed to his temple. Don't be angry, niece. There's something wrong here. Lin Shui, seeing my innocent expression, didn't react. She simply kept a safe distance and put the bracelet on me. However, the bracelet didn't react at all. Lin Shui rolled her eyes. He wasn't an awakened at all. Seeing this, Xiang Chongfeng felt a pang of disappointment. Just as he was about to take me away from Lin Zhou, he pleaded with me again. President Xiang, please let Xiang Nan stay and be observed for a few days. It's absolutely safe here. I'll send Xiao Shui to take care of him personally. Xiang Chongfeng, considering his own health, finally agreed. As we parted, he held my hand. Son, Dad's going first. Be good here. After saying this, my father couldn't help but cough violently, and a metallic taste came out of his mouth. Seeing this, I frowned, grabbed my father's hand, and symbolically poked the back of his hand with my finger. The healing energy has been activated and has entered the patient's body. The condition will be cured in 3 days. Coughing every day is so annoying. I'll give you an acupuncture and you'll be fine. Xiang Chongfeng just took my childish words as innocent remarks, patted my head, and turned to leave. After my father left, in the director's office of the Supernatural Abilities Bureau, Lin Zhou was being scolded by Director Zhang. The black-haired monster that eats people's hearts has killed 7 people and caused panic. If it's not dealt with soon, how can we explain it to the public? I'll give you 3 more days. If you can't solve it, I think you should be replaced as the captain. Lin Zhou quickly made a guarantee. Director, don't worry, I will definitely take it down within 3 days. But as soon as he walked out of the office, he immediately became worried. Just then, Lin Zhou suddenly thought of me. Since I can deal with the mutated tigers so easily, dealing with this black-haired monster must be no problem either. But after the test, I'm not an awakened one. Could it be because of that Pikachu King? Lin Zhou thought it over and over and decided to borrow Pikachu to try it out. He turned around and waved to his teammates. Come with me to find Xiang Nan. Soon, the group arrived in front of my room. I had just finished a bottle of 6 nuclear bombs and was savoring the taste of wisdom when I heard the knock on the door. I was very impatient. Who is it? Don't disturb my cultivation. Lin Zhou, outside the door, suppressed the urge to complain and pushed open the door, smiling at me. Master, your Pikachu is very powerful. Can I borrow it? Upon hearing this, I immediately pounced on the Pikachu on the bed and hugged it tightly. Dream on, I thought. No way, Lin Zhou said. With great patience, I continued to persuade Xiang Nan. Listen to me. We're lending you Pikachu to do something big for the people. If we succeed, you'll be the biggest hero in Jiangdong City. Hearing the word big hero, I hesitated for a moment, then beckoned to him. I can lend you Pikachu, but you have to agree to one condition. Lin Zhou seemed to have grasped at a last straw. What condition? I asked, looking at him and saying each word carefully. Let me lead you in this operation. Hearing this, Lin Zhou felt his head buzz, but he still steeled himself and answered. No problem, Commander-in-Chief. These 3 team members are the best performers. We'll follow your orders. Satisfied, I walked up to the 3 and fixed my gaze on the only girl. What's your name? The girl quickly replied, my name is Songyu. I looked her up and down. The girl's figure was like an airport runway, far inferior to Lin Deshigua. So I shook my head. Your name isn't nice. I'll change it for you. From now on, I'll call you Song Xiaomantu. Hearing this, the 2 team members beside me suppressed their laughter until their faces twitched. I then turned my gaze to the young man who was laughing the loudest. What's your name? The young man immediately stopped laughing. Reporting to the captain, my name is Li Long. I nodded. Okay, Li Dazhuang. The other brother, I'll call you Bu Yingjun. Personnel count complete. Paw Patrol, off we go. Soon, this temporarily formed Paw Patrol team was fully equipped and drove towards the scene of the incident, Riverside Park. In the car, Lin Zhou was still worried. Xiaomantu, tell me more about that monster. Songyu obviously still couldn't accept this, but knew now wasn't the time to argue. She could only helplessly reply. That monster is a Class B parasitic monster, extremely ferocious, usually lurking in the jungle. Movements are steady, precise, and ruthless. One strike can be fatal. Hearing this, I waved my hand dismissively. A mere little demon isn't worth getting this nervous about. Wait till I, the captain, make my move and utterly destroy him. Seeing this, Lin Zhou sighed and subconsciously hugged the Pikachu in his arms tighter, as if it were his only hope. Half an hour later, we arrived at the Riverside Park. As soon as we got out of the car, we heard a strange roar coming from the depths of the woods. Then, a dark figure leaped and landed with a thud in front of us. The system notification sounded at the opportune moment. System scan complete. Target: a man-eating, B-grade parasitic monster, extremely ferocious. Please. The system notification had barely finished when the black-haired monster in front of him turned its scarlet pupils, as if appraising tonight's extra treat. Lin Zhou gripped the Pikachu plushie in his hand, struck a perfect baseball-throwing pose, and shouted with all his might, "Go, Pikachu!" The red plushie landed precisely on the black-haired monster's face, then bounced to the ground with a thud, never to recover. For a moment, the air was eerily quiet. Even the black-haired monster seemed stunned by the blow, probably never having been hit in the face by such a cute attack before. Seeing that its trump card had no effect, Lin Zhou finally panicked. Xiao Nan, what's going on? Why isn't Pikachu working? Hearing this, I looked at him with disdain. You idiot. That's just a toy. You actually think you can use it to deal with the black-haired monster? To fight a monster, you need the golden cudgel. After saying that, I pulled a plastic toy golden cudgel from my trouser leg and charged towards the monster. Monster, take this. My cudgel. Just then, the system voice sounded on time. System enchantment activated. The golden cudgel grew thicker, longer, and bigger. Suddenly, the plastic toy in my hand flashed with light and expanded like an inflated baguette. Seeing this, the black-haired monster, its eyes filled with mockery, raised its enormous hand to slap me. I, however, neither dodged nor evaded, but instead swung my golden cudgel, striking the monster's shoulder. With a deafening boom, the monster let out a piercing scream. Half its body slammed into the ground by my blow. I gave it no chance to catch its breath, and with a swift, sweeping motion, I swung the golden cudgel in a wide arc. Ready to kill you, you bastard. And so, the second blow landed squarely on the monster's head. Its skull, as if struck by a massive object, shattered instantly. The once ferocious monster was thus killed by my 2 blows. The dramatic scene stunned Lin Zhou and the others. They hadn't expected that the monster that had plagued them for so long could be dealt with so easily by me. I ignored their shock and simply flicked my wrist, instantly restoring the golden cudgel to its original form. At the same time, the monster quickly withdrew its hand, and its terrifying black fur disappeared, ultimately turning into a headless male corpse. Seeing this, Song Zaimantu was full of confusion. This monster was actually a human in disguise. Lin Zhou also frowned. I've been on missions for so long and have never encountered anything like this before. Li Dazhuang, you two go find a body bag, put the corpse in it, and take it back to the research institute. The investigation at the institute was quick. The group drove back to the Supernatural Abilities Bureau. In the back seat, my attention had already shifted to Song Zaimantu. I suddenly reached out and rubbed his back. What's that white thing on your back? Are they wings? Let me see, I asked. Hearing this, Song Zaimantu sighed and facepalmed. That's my awakened ability. How can I lend it to you? I rolled my eyes at him, thinking, you stingy little thing. Song Zaimantu patiently explained that awakened abilities are unique to each individual and cannot be transferred between realms. I'm an insect-type awakened ability that can conjure butterfly wings, I explained. Li Dazhuang is a beast-type awakened ability with normal reaction speed, 10 times the size of a human. Bu Yingjun is a plant-type awakened being who can survive without food or water, using photosynthesis to sustain life. After hearing this, I suddenly understood. So that's how it is. Next time you fly, remember to bring a few people with you. After returning to the Superpower Bureau, the freshly made headless corpse was quickly transported to the Research Institute. The Bureau attached great importance to the case. The researchers, led by Lin Deshigua, immediately put on white coats and began to work around the corpse. However, after a series of examinations with various high-tech instruments, the results were astonishing. No abnormalities were found on the corpse. Lin Zhou was puzzled by this result. This was strange. The monster clearly came from his body, but the corpse showed no signs of parasitism. Could it be that the real parasite was not on his body? Subsequently, they verified the deceased's identity through DNA and notified the family. Not long after, a hunchbacked old man arrived. He was the deceased's father. The old man was hunched over, almost folded in half. His skin was ashen, his eyes were sunken, and he exuded an indescribable gloomy aura. I am Zhao Taizhan. Where's my son? After a lot of fussing, besides the old man's wailing, they didn't get any useful clues. Lin Shui, heavy-hearted, saw Zhao Taizhan off and turned to go to her office to organize her report. Just then, he passed by me, who was chewing on a lollipop. He rubbed the back of his neck as he walked, a pained expression on his face. What's wrong? My back is so sore. Is it really because it's too heavy? At that moment, the system issued a warning. Host, something terrible has happened. An unknown monster has parasitized Lin Shui. Danger level unknown. Just as Lin Shui was about to go back to rest, I darted close to him. Lin Deshigua, there seems to be a face on the back of your neck smiling at you. It's so ugly. Lin Shui was startled by my sudden close proximity. What nonsense are you talking about? But he still instinctively reached out to touch it, only to find a hard, protruding lump. Just then, Lin Zhou arrived, immediately noticing something was wrong. Xiao Shui, come with me to the examination room. The examination results made everyone gasp. The high-definition images showed a strange bulge on the back of Lin Shui's neck. Under the magnification of the instrument, the outline of the tumor clearly showed distorted facial features, like an unformed fetus. Even more troublesome was that the nerves of the tumor had already connected to his neck. The vertebral nerves were connected and could not be removed by conventional surgery. Lin Shui looked at the image on the screen, her face ashen. The news quickly spread within the Supernatural Abilities Bureau. Director Zhang also rushed over upon hearing the news. The tumor was likely parasitized by some unknown thing. With the current medical conditions in our bureau, I'm afraid we can't solve it. Why don't we send Xiao Shui to headquarters? They have the best experts there. Hearing this, I lazily said, no need for that. It's not a big deal. Just dig it out. Lin Zhong scolded me irritably. Xiang Nan, I know you have some skills, but this is not child's play. A provocative smile appeared on my lips. You old geezer, who do you think you are? After saying that, I didn't wait for everyone and turned around and ran back to my room. Soon, I took a 2-yuan yellow plastic beach shovel and went straight to Lin Shui, who was already completely lost. I bent over and pressed down on her butt. Hurry up. At this moment, Lin Shui only felt that the back of her neck was getting itchier, and her head was also. It grew heavier and heavier, as if something was draining her life force. With a determined heart, she obediently laid down on the examination table. Seeing this, I nodded in satisfaction and raised the beach shovel high. Watch closely, little ones. I'll shovel you to death, you bastard. The system enchantment activated, and the beach shovel transformed into an exorcism shovel. I shoveled down on the writhing tumor. With a soft plop, the tumor fell off. Lin Shui's nape was smooth as ever, without a single drop of blood. The surrounding area fell silent. Everyone stared in disbelief, their eyes wide. Lin Zhou was so shocked he couldn't close his mouth. It was so easy to remove. Lin Shui touched the back of her neck with lingering fear. Then suddenly a thought flashed through her mind. Could this thing be related to Zhao Taizhan? When she saw him, I had a feeling something was off, and he was very emotional at the time. So I helped him up. I only had close contact with him today. Hearing this, Lin Zhou immediately put on a fawning smile and looked at me, ordering me to go with a 3-person team to investigate Zhao Tieshan's residence in Xingfu village on the outskirts of the city. Without hesitation, I shook my head. I was sleepy and wanted to go to bed. Lin Zhou had no choice but to pull out his trump card. If you solve this, I'll buy you a Peppa Pig family bucket. How about that? So I immediately led the 3-person team to Xingfu village. We found Zhao Tieshan's house according to the address. Lin Zhou knocked on the door, but no one answered. Just then, a woman poked her head out from the courtyard. Who are you? Lin Zhou immediately identified himself. We're from the Supernatural Abilities Bureau, here to investigate something. Hearing this, the woman's expression became even more enthusiastic. Old Zhao hasn't been home these past few days. What do you want to know? Ask me the same thing. Without further ado, she pushed them into the courtyard. Comrade, what do you want to know about old Zhao? Lin Zhou organized his thoughts. Has he been acting strangely lately? Or has his hunchback always been this bad? The woman immediately replied. He's always been like that. He never straightened up. Just then, a girl came out carrying a tea tray. The woman smiled and put her arm around the girl. This is my best friend, Xiaofang. However, when Lin Zhou saw the girl's face clearly, Lin Zhou froze instantly. The girl in front of him looked exactly like a girl who had gone missing before. So Lin Zhou slowly reached for the equipment at his waist. Who are you people? The woman and Xiaofang's smiles remained unchanged, but instead looked even more eerie. Comrade, what's the tension? We'll perform a magic trick to liven things up. Before they could react, the woman and Xiaofang simultaneously raised their hands and slowly turned their heads. The next moment, their bodies rapidly grew thick black hair, and in the blink of an eye, they transformed into 2 monsters. This scene caught Lin Zhou and the others off guard. His first reaction was to run away. Retreat. Before he could finish speaking, the 2 monsters. He leaped up and pounced on the crowd. Strong but not handsome. His 5 fingers stretched out and transformed into plant roots, tightly binding the 2 monsters. Then, Li Dazhuang jumped onto the monster's shoulder and unleashed a series of punches, wildly stabbing at its head. Song Xiamanta didn't hesitate either, facing the remaining monsters. Meanwhile, I remained seated, watching the spectacle. The magic trick was truly spectacular, complete with a fighting scene. Soon, the 2 monsters were knocked unconscious by the combined attack. Song Xiamanta wiped the sweat from his brow. This village definitely has a problem, he said. I wonder how many people the tumor has parasitized. The entire village might have turned into monsters. We need to report this to the Bureau as soon as possible. He seemed to have seen something horrifying, and Donghua froze on the spot. I followed his gaze and saw a huge old sow standing in the middle of the yard, her body covered with human-faced tumors. Everyone felt their scalps tingle at the sight. Just then, the tall sow let out a squeal and charged straight at us. I easily dodged to the side. Peppa's food must be really good. Seeing that I had easily avoided her attack, the sow immediately turned around and chased after Song Xiamantu and the others relentlessly. For a moment, they could only flee in a sorry state, staging a real-life version of Fast and Furious. Guing Jun was quickly caught up by the sow, who was terrified. His voice cracked. Help, I don't want to die young. Seeing this, I immediately took out the water gun from my pocket and aimed it at Guing Jun's body. The Big Sow system enhancement was activated, and the water gun transformed into an enchanted energy cannon. Suddenly, the water gun glowed, and its structure underwent a dramatic change, instantly becoming an enchanted energy cannon shimmering with a ghostly blue light. I pulled the trigger, and a solid laser beam accurately struck him, causing him to explode into a handful of black ash that scattered in the wind. Seeing this, Song Xiamantu and the others were petrified on the spot. Li Dazhuang was the first to react. This is too cool. He took him down in one move. What kind of move is this? Hearing this, I blew on my water gun. I call this using magic to defeat magic, using Peppa Pig to defeat Peppa Pig. At that moment, Lin Zhou also climbed up from the rubble. I looked at him curiously. How come you're not hurt at all? I thought someone your age would be in the ICU after being hit like that. Hearing this, Song Xiaoman couldn't help but laugh. Captain Lin is a beetle-type awakened being with the ability to harden his skin, making him very strong defensively. Just as Lin Zhou was about to say a few polite words to salvage his dignity, Zhao Tieshan's hunched figure silently appeared at the door. He looked at us coldly. I heard you were looking for me. After the battle just now, Lin Zhou knew that now was not a good time to confront Zhao Taizhan head-on. He immediately put on a fawning smile. "Hello, sir. We're from the community's warmth-giving team. We heard that conditions in Xingfu village are rather difficult, so we came to see if there's anything you need." Upon hearing this, Xiao Taizhan approached Lin Zhou step by step. "I want your life," he said. Before the words were even finished, he stomped on Lin Zhou's back with such force that the surrounding ground sank slightly. A thick layer of black light instantly appeared on Lin Zhou's body. Xiao Taizhan stomped down heavily, rendering Lin Zhou powerless. "Are the people from the Superpower Bureau this week now?" "However, plant-type awakened beings are rare. You'll become my nourishment." With that, he walked towards Gu Yingjun. At that critical moment, I drew my water gun and shot it at his face. Xiao Taizhan dodged immediately, but was still grazed on the left shoulder, his flesh instantly torn apart. I slowly walked up to him. "This way is blocked," I said, raising the water gun again and aiming it at his head. The next second, a violent explosion rang out. Xiao Taizhan was thrown to the ground by the blast wave, lying there motionless. Several people immediately showed excited expressions, but I looked Xiao Taizhan up and down, a vague feeling that something was wrong. I had a feeling he wasn't completely dead. Sure enough, the next second, his hoarse voice slowly rang out from the smoke and dust. "You're celebrating too soon." As soon as he finished speaking, his injuries began to heal rapidly. His previously hunched body straightened completely, and 2 more heads sprouted from behind him. His body also became stronger. Seeing this, I pulled the trigger again, firing another laser cannon. But the 3-headed Xiao Taizhan vanished in a flash. I searched for him in confusion. This is not scientific. He was just an old man a moment ago. How did he transform into a super scion in the blink of an eye? At that moment, Song Zaimantu unfolded her wings and charged towards me. Unfortunately, it was too late. Xiao Taizhan suddenly appeared to my side, his fist the size of a clay pot aimed at my handsome face. The force of the punch sent me flying backward, crashing into the red brick wall. My head slammed against it, and I quickly blacked out and passed out. This scene enraged Lin Zhou, who charged at Xiao Taizhan recklessly. "I'll kill you." Xiao Taizhan simply raised his hand and punched Lin Zhou back. Xiao Taizhan looked confident. "Your Special Abilities Bureau is still the same old thing. Never seen anything like this. It's just one person dying. What's the big deal? Besides, that kid's death is your fault. Why do you guys have to come to our organization's experimental base for no reason?" Upon hearing this, Gu Yingjun suddenly thought of something. "You're from the Exiled organization." Xiao Taizhan glanced at Gu Yingjun appreciatively. "I didn't expect you to be so knowledgeable." "That's right. What our organization despises most are you awakened ones who shout about saving the world every day. Since God has awakened everyone's abilities, why not do something that makes you happy?" Gu Yingjun looked at him with bloodshot eyes. "Is what you call happy doing burning, killing, looting, and committing all kinds of evil?" Upon hearing this, Xiao Taizhan waved his hands. "This is so noisy. You might as well die." Just as he was about to crush Bu Yingjuan's neck, I slowly walked up behind him. "Did you give me permission to touch my people?" Upon hearing my voice, everyone present was stunned. Then Lin Zhou excitedly hugged me. "Great. You're not dead. But why do you seem a little?" Now, I no longer possessed that clear-headed folly of before. That violent impact had unexpectedly sharpened my mind. I recalled being hit by a car and becoming mentally challenged, and couldn't help but rub my forehead and wryly laugh at my lifelong reputation. Just then, the system suddenly logged in. "Host, you're finally awake. This system is so moved. You have no idea what kind of life I've been living before." The system's newcomer gift pack, which the mentally challenged host hadn't yet claimed, was now available. "Smart host, would you like to claim it now?" Hearing this, I clicked confirm without hesitation. System reward. Beast Soul Awakening has arrived. Pleasant cooperation. As soon as I finished speaking, a fierce aura emanated from my body. The wounds on my forehead and cheeks healed at a visible speed, and my pupils instantly contracted into diamond shapes. At the same time, the detection bracelet on my wrist emitted a dazzling light. Seeing this, Lin Zhou's eyes widened immediately. "This is SS-Level. I haven't seen a 3S-level awakening since the global mutation began." Xiao Taizhan, however, was convinced I was faking it and immediately clenched his fist to strike me. I simply stood still, a fierce glint flashing in my diamond-shaped pupils. Zhao Tieshan's iron fist seemed as slow as Tai Chi to me. I simply raised my hand and firmly grasped his fist. Zhao Tieshan's expression changed drastically. He frantically tried to break free, but couldn't budge an inch. Then, I exerted force with my 5 fingers and twisted them sharply, tearing Zhao Tieshan's entire arm off. At the same time, my other hand slammed into Zhao Tieshan's chest. With a muffled thud, Zhao Tieshan's sternum caved in, and he flew backward. I flashed and appeared above him, then stomped my leg down, creating a deep pit in the ground. Xiao Taizhan lay in the middle of the pit, completely incapacitated, his eyes filled with nothing but despair. Terrified and wary, I didn't answer his question. Instead, I reached out and grabbed him, crushing him with a sudden grip. A red crystal appeared in my hand, and energy flowed into my body through my palm. Soon, the crystal turned into powder and dissipated in the wind. At this moment, the four people from Linzhou in the distance unconsciously swallowed. This was the first time they had ever seen such a violent scene. Lu Yingjun gently tugged at Linzhou's sleeve. Captain Xiang Nan, what are you doing? Linzhou looked at my back with a solemn expression. I've heard that high-level awakened ones can devour the energy of low-level awakened ones to achieve self-recovery. It seems Xiang Nan is much more powerful than we imagined. As soon as he finished speaking, Li Dazhuang excitedly ran towards me. Xiang Nan, are you not stupid? Looking at everyone's gaze, I smiled slightly. Of course, no one really thought I was stupid. Suddenly, the scene shifted abruptly. I strode confidently toward the jeep, seemingly oblivious to my surroundings. The four Autobots, upon seeing this, were stunned. They immediately took me back to the Research Institute. Soon after, at the Bureau of Supernatural Abilities Research Institute, my body was once again covered in various instruments, and the test results confirmed once again that I was not an Awaken. Linzhou was completely baffled by this result. Impossible. We witnessed that power with our own eyes. It could only be released by a 3S-level awakened. Thinking of this, Linzhou had a flash of inspiration. Could it be that Xiang Nan could only trigger awakening when he was conscious? If that were the case, then we need to protect Xiang Nan even more now. Upon hearing this, Song Xiamanta looked puzzled. Why does he need our protection when he's so powerful? Lin Zhou's expression, however, was more resolute than ever before. Think about it, he said. Xiang Nan is a high-level awakened one. He can devour others, but in the eyes of even higher-level awakened ones, he is also a target for devouring. Especially now that he's become mentally challenged, the dangers he'll face in the future will only increase. Hearing this, everyone turned to look at me, who was playing with my fingers and grinning foolishly. For a moment, they all fell silent. Since the incident in Happiness Village had been resolved satisfactorily, Lin Zhou decided to treat everyone to a hearty meal. After we were full, my bladder protested, so I went to the restroom by myself. Just as I finished, I heard a strange sound coming from the next stall. I immediately tiptoed to the door of that stall and saw a man and a woman leaning against each other in an ambiguous position through the crack in the door. I was about to cover my eyes to avoid seeing the gruesome scene when, in the next second, the woman's face suddenly bulged with veins, and she bit down hard on the man's neck. The man's body just twitched stiffly for a few seconds before he fell silent. Seeing this, I instantly lost interest. It turned out they weren't doing anything indescribable, they were eating people. I then walked out of the restroom. Lin Zhou saw me come out and immediately went up to me. Why did you take so long? If you hadn't come out soon, I would have come to get you. Hearing this, I yawned boredly. There was a woman in red doing a mukbang inside, but she was eating a man. I watched for a while before coming out. Too late. As soon as I finished speaking, the smile on Lin Zhou's face vanished instantly. He immediately turned around and pushed open the door to the women's restroom. The moment the door opened, the woman in red pounced on Lin Zhou, but Lin Zhou grabbed her and pinned her against the wall. At this moment, Song Xiamantu and the other two rushed in to help Lin Zhou, holding the woman's hands. Lin Zhou immediately breathed a sigh of relief. Then he turned to look at me. Your physique that attracts monsters is unparalleled. Rumor has it that Conan exists, and in Jiangdong City, we have Xiang Nan. Having you is our blessing. I thought Lin Zhou was praising me, so I smiled and replied, you deserve it. Soon, we brought the woman in red back to the station. It turned out this woman was an invasive vampire. This immediately attracted the attention of the station. Lin Zhou immediately convened an emergency meeting. After a whole night of interrogation, he confessed that he was infected by Sun Biao, the chairman of the original group. Song Xiaoman frowned upon hearing the name. Is he that young tycoon who's always in financial magazines? Lin Zhou nodded. Sun Biao has been using superhuman. However, through unfair business competition, the original group's assets exceeded 100 billion in just 6 months, and his next target was the Xiang Group, Xiang Nan's father. Upon hearing this, I immediately raised my head. I had seen him on my home computer. He was a bad guy, and I was going to eliminate him. Just then, a familiar voice rang in my mind. Although I didn't know why I had turned into a mentally challenged host again, this system supports you and is ready to supply you at any time. With the system's support, I was even more confident and turned to walk out of the Superpower Bureau. Seeing this, Lin Zhou and the other three immediately followed. Not long after, Lin Zhou received a location sent by Lin de Shigua. Someone said that Sun Biao's car was parked far away. He had already been staying at the Chuangda hotel for several days. Upon hearing this, Li Dazhuang immediately drove towards the Chuangda hotel. When we arrived at the private room, we saw a woman pleading with Sun Biao. Brother Biao, when are you going to agree to be my boyfriend? Sun Biao's lips curled slightly. I heard you pursued Xiang Nan for 2 years. How come you've changed your target now? Hearing this, the girl frowned slightly. That Xiang Nan is an idiot. How can he compare to Brother Biao? But Brother Biao, when do you plan to acquire the Xiang group? Sun Biao took a sip of his wine. Soon, at most a year. Upon hearing this, I immediately thought of my father's illness. I couldn't hold back any longer and walked straight up to Sun Bin. You're Sun Bin, right? A girl chuckled. Who do we have here? It's just you, Xiao Nan the idiot. You think you're worthy to talk to me, Brother Bin? I didn't bother arguing with him. I looked directly at the crowd. I'm looking for him because he's an infected monster. As soon as I said that, everyone burst into laughter. An idiot actually knows about monsters? How ridiculous. Go home and watch cartoons. Stop wasting our time. However, I ignored them and pulled out a water gun from my pocket. System enhancement activated. Injecting purified holy water into the water gun will make monsters appear. Then, expressionless, I pulled the trigger. A stream of crystalline liquid accurately shot into Sun Biao's face. The next second, the skin on Sun Biao's face cracked open. As the decay began, veins bulged on his face, and 2 fangs sprouted from his mouth. Seeing this, the previously laughing crowd instantly fell silent. The girl cowered in a corner, trembling. What was happening? Was Brother Biao really a monster? Hearing this, the group of rich kids panicked and ran away. Sun Biao had already locked onto the girl closest to him. The girl immediately crawled to my feet, begging for mercy. Please save me, Nan, she pleaded. Before she could finish, Sun Biao pulled her back. Didn't you say you wanted to be my girlfriend? That way we could be together forever, he said, opening his jaws and biting off the girl's neck. Seeing this, I just shook my head. You laugh at me for being an idiot? I laugh at you for dying so fast. We're even. After sucking the girl's blood, Sun Bin turned and lunged at me. I hit him with a few water jets, the holy water purifying his body, instantly emitting blinding white light. The pain from the cigarette made him scream shrilly. I curled my lip in disgust. You're too weak. This isn't fun at all. Let's finish this quickly. I pulled out my toy golden cudgel and slapped it across Sun Bin's cheek. His head snapped to the side, and he flew through the air, crashing heavily against the wall of the private room. He then collapsed to the ground like a rag doll, completely unconscious. After this incident, the leaders of the Supernatural Abilities Bureau were very impressed with our team and even rewarded us with a sum of money. Just as we were figuring out how to have some fun, Linda Shiguo walked in. Xiang Nan, your dad's here to see you. I looked up, but he wasn't as attractive as my remote control car. So I looked down and started playing again. Seeing this, Xiang Changfeng was slightly taken aback, but didn't take it seriously. Son, Dad's here to tell you 2 things. One is good news, and the other is bad news. Do you want to hear it first? Seeing that I didn't react, Xiang Changfeng continued on his own. After the doctor's examination, Dad's illness has been cured. Isn't that a medical miracle? Hearing this, I finally looked up. And the good news? Xiang Changfeng was about to speak when he suddenly felt something was off. At this moment, Lin Zhou stepped forward. Mr. Xiang, your illness was cured by Xiang Nan, and you don't need to worry about business competition anymore. Sun Biao has already been taken care of by Xiang Nan. Then Lin Zhou told him about the recent events. Xiang Changfeng burst into tears on the spot. My son has finally grown up. Then he walked to my side. Son, there's one more thing. Your second aunt is coming back from out of town and wants to see you. Hearing this, I gave a perfunctory reply. No reply. Both are bad news. Immediately, Xiang Changfeng added, your cousin Su Yuan is here too. I immediately threw down the remote control car in my hand. Hurry up and go back now. The luxurious manor was filled with joy because of Su Yuan's arrival. Xiang Changfeng looked at Su with doting eyes. I didn't expect you to grow up so much. You'll be going to university soon, right? Hearing this, Su Yuan smiled shyly. I've been accepted into Jiangdong University. I'll be registering in a few days. By the way, uncle, for someone like my cousin, I suggest he go to university with me. That will speed up his recovery. Xiang Changfeng sighed helplessly. I've thought about that too. I'm currently working on some connections. If Nan can really go to university, I'll have to trouble you to take care of her. Now, before school starts, why don't you take Nan out for a few days? Afterwards, I accompanied Su Yuan to the amusement park. On the way, I held Su Yuan's hand and explained the Peppa Pig family to him. Just then, a woman suddenly walked up to me. Handsome guy, can we get to know each other? System scan. The woman is a B-level plant type, awakened being. It can release a fragrance to bewitch the mind. Please stay away, host. Hearing this, I turned my head and sized up the other person. She was just as big as Lin the watermelon, so I ignored the system's prompt. Okay, I love making friends. Xiao Yuan, You go home first. I want to play with this watermelon. The woman smiled when she heard my answer. After Su Yuan walked away, she released the gas, intending to control me. System detected hallucinogenic gas. It has been automatically isolated by the host, and the air purification mode has been activated. However, my gaze was fixed on a certain spot. This woman was wearing a crop top. Wearing a miniskirt, I slapped her across the face. The feel was SOSO, still a little worse than Lin de Shigua. The woman's eyes widened instantly, clearly not expecting me to be so bold. I increased the dosage of gas release, and her voice became even sweeter. Sister, let's go to a less crowded place to play. What do you want to play? Sister will play with you. After saying that, she deliberately twisted her body. Hearing this, my eyes lit up. Great. Let's go then. Soon after, the woman looked at the pile of Peppa Pig dolls in front of her and couldn't resist anymore. You want to play with this? I quickly picked up Peppa Pig. Yes, Mummy Pig is so gentle. I like her the most. The woman couldn't hold back any longer and pulled me towards the Jeep in front of her. As the car drove off, a man in the passenger seat stuck his neck out the window. Xiao, what took you so long? How hard can it be to take a mentally challenged person like that? Just then, the system voice sounded. System scan complete. Target, B-level beast soul type, turtle awakener, strong defense. The woman named by Jia glared at the man disdainfully. Next time, you guys go yourselves. I'm not going. She didn't know why the boss valued this mentally challenged person so much, making them both calm. Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and take him to see the boss. Hearing this, the man revealed a lewd smile. Don't rush. I'll send a text message to those people at the Superpower Bureau. We'll wipe them all out. Maybe our positions will improve. She added, I've been listening the whole time. Then, as if suddenly realizing something, I clapped my hands. Are you playing a kidnapping game with me? I quickly reached for my waist, drew my toy gun, and aimed it at him. Don't move. Drop your weapon. You're surrounded. Seeing this, the man laughed loudly. Little Jia, this idiot is quite interesting. I almost don't want to hand him over to the boss. Just as they were joking with each other, the system notification sounded again. System enhancement activated. Toy gun transformed into explosive gun. Without hesitation, I pulled the trigger. The next second, a blinding tongue of fire erupted from the muzzle, exploding directly into Bai Jia's chest. He stared in disbelief at the charred bone on his chest, and then he collapsed limply to the ground. This sudden turn of events terrified the man beside him. He immediately leaped out of the car, but I didn't give him a chance. I raised my hand and fired again in his direction. A dense green light emanated from the man's body, quickly forming a phantom armor that barely blocked the fatal attack. Activating my advanced defensive soul skill system, I further enhanced the toy pistol, upgrading it to a bursting and penetrating weapon. As the system notification sounded, I pulled the trigger again. This time, the dazzling flash of light didn't hesitate at all, piercing through his armor. The man didn't even have time to scream before collapsing. Not long after, Lin Zhou and the others, having received the news, rushed over. I've arrived at the scene. Xiang Nan, are you all right? Where are your kidnappers? I asked, pointing to the chaotic battlefield behind me. Lin Zhou looked in the direction I pointed and quickly saw the mangled corpses. His lips twitched involuntarily. But who kidnapped whom? However, this incident completely confirmed Lin Zhou's previous suspicions. I was indeed being targeted by some unknown force. So Lin Zhou immediately ordered a search of the two kidnappers for evidence. Soon, they found it on the armored man's phone. The phone was not locked, and the page was on a web browser window that was not completely closed. At the top was a title, Dark Bounty Order, Bounty 1 billion, Target, member of the 3rd Squad of the Jiangdong City Supernatural Ability Bureau. After reading the webpage, Lin Zhou's face turned extremely grim. He solemnly ordered the scene to be sealed off immediately, all items brought back to the station, and a report immediately submitted. He then looked at me, still curiously observing my surroundings, a heavy weight in his heart. For the next few days, Lin Zhou stayed by my side constantly. The atmosphere throughout the entire station was tense because of this incident. After an emergency analysis of the evidence, Lin Zhou immediately convened a meeting. The investigation revealed that this was a premeditated kidnapping. The attackers were from the International Awakened Criminal Network, the Flonet organization. Someone had issued a bounty on Xiang Nan through this network, although the poster was anonymous. The name was sent, but our intelligence analysts tracked the flow of funds and some IP traces, ultimately pointing to a codenamed predator. To find the real predator, we can start with a small-time leader named Zhao Li. In addition, it has been confirmed that the hideout of the exiled organization involved in this kidnapping is located in the Xiqing district of Jiangdong City. Although I don't quite understand the words predator, I understand the word kidnapping perfectly. Isn't this the game we played a few days ago? I was immediately excited. Great, there's more to play. At this moment, Linzhou announced the next plan, saying that they would operate in batches in plain clothes to avoid alerting the enemy, and our third team would be the first to set off. This arrangement suited me perfectly. I was immediately impatient, and soon we arrived at a chaotic street. Linzhou cautiously scanned the surroundings. The exiled organizations were nearby. Be careful. Observe the situation first. Don't alert them, he said. However, his gaze was immediately drawn to a row of scantily clad women not far away. Feeling bored sitting there, I got out of the car with Linzhou. As soon as I stood still, my striking appearance immediately attracted the attention of many women on the street. Just then, a system notification sounded in my mind. System scan complete. All women ahead are sea-level vampire infected. I quietly approached the bewildered Linzhou. Is he handsome? But they are all vampires. Upon hearing this, Linzhou's eyes widened. I'd better go back to the car and observe, he said, then slunk back to his car. I headed towards the most crowded area. After a few steps, I realized the source of the commotion was a brightly lit bar. I suddenly remembered Linzhou mentioning in the meeting that the exiled organization's hideout might be in a place like this. So I stepped inside and turned to a glamorous woman beside me. Hey beautiful, do you know where Xiaoli is? The woman's eyes lit up when she saw I was a handsome, clean-cut guy. I know. I'm very close to Brother Zhao. I've even had drinks with him before. I thought, there's a chance. I immediately asked, can you take me to him? The woman covered her mouth and laughed. Judging from your appearance, you must be new here. I can introduce you. I was overjoyed. Let's go quickly, I said and followed her. The woman headed towards a staircase leading underground, but we hadn't gone far when we were stopped by a man guarding the stairs. Stop, who are you? The woman said, taking a step back in fright. Brother, I'm here to see Brother Zhao. I've come specifically to introduce him to someone. The man waved impatiently, letting us through. Upon entering Xiaoli's office, we saw a young man with dyed blonde hair sitting inside, legs crossed, scrolling through his phone. The woman bowed to him first, then quickly winked at me. This is our Brother Zhao. Say hello. Hearing this, I pulled a plastic toy gun from my pocket and pointed it directly at Xiaoli. The woman froze. What are you doing? I raised my chin. Can't you tell? Of course, I'm going to kill him. Xiaoli, standing beside me, slowly raised his head. He had clearly recognized me. You really are an idiot. Are you just offering yourself up for a beating? I didn't waste words on his taunts. Instead, I pulled the trigger. The system enhancement activated. The toy gun transformed into an energy laser cannon. With a deafening roar, a laser exploded, blasting Xiaoli and her chair flying. Immediately afterward, I fired repeatedly, like playing whack-a-mole. The entire office seemed to be shrouded in flames. Xiaoli, enveloped in the intense heat, screamed for help. Is anyone outside? Help! Just then, Linzhou and Song Xiaoman rushed in, their expressions anxious. But when they saw the scene in the room, they froze. Linzhou weakly asked, Xiang Nan, are you all right? I ignored him and continued firing, laser beams raining down on Xiaoli like they were free, giving her a good roasting. The entire room filled with the aroma of burning protein. Moments later, Xiaoli lay like a dead dog. Just as I was about to finish him off, Linzhou stopped me. Don't be impulsive. Leave him alive. He's an S-class awakened, the leader of the Exile organization. He must know a lot of secrets. However, just as Linzhou was about to pop in the champagne to celebrate, a chilling, ferocious aura suddenly rushed in from outside the door. Then, several short screams echoed from the corridor outside, and then the world went completely silent. I felt there was an even bigger spectacle to watch, so I immediately ran towards the door. Unexpectedly, the corridor was filled with corpses, including not only members of the Exile organization, but also our colleagues from the Supernatural Abilities Bureau. Seeing this, Linzhou was shocked. How could this be? At the end of the corridor, a young man stood quietly, walking towards us step by step. What a bunch of useless trash. I have to take care of them myself. Upon hearing this, Linzhou's pupils shrank. You are the predator. Yingfei's lips curled up. It's like I've been observing you for a few days and found that these useless people can't even cause you any trouble, but you seem to be having a lot of fun. It seems your idiocy is just a disguise. There must be something interesting about you. But it doesn't matter. It's always more fun to crack the mystery yourself. Just then, The system beeped on time. System scan complete. Target, SSS-level Extreme Storm Bear Beast Soul Awakener. A perfect combination of power and speed. Warning, this time, host, you really need to be careful. Yingfei took a step forward, and a force instantly pressed down. Linzhou groaned and was almost knocked to the ground. This is impossible. How can you be an SSS-level Awakener? Hearing this, Yingfei looked at me coldly. My target from beginning to end has only been you. As for your colleagues, those who saw what they shouldn't have seen, I can only clean them up as well. After all, before the new order is established, it's better to have fewer ants from the old world. As soon as he finished speaking, his figure began to become demonic. The next second, he pounced on me like a ghost. Seeing this, I was instantly happy. Finally, it's my turn. I'm so bored. System, come and do some work. The next second, the system's tired voice came. Detected overspecification fatal danger. Emergency response protocol activated. Toy gun final form unlocked. Concept erased. Gun authority pending. At this moment, the toy gun in my hand changed shape. A light flowed across its body, and then a tiny gray vortex formed at the muzzle, emitting an ethereal aura. Eagle's forward momentum abruptly halted his intuition. Born from a top-tier beast soul, issued a warning. I merely blinked at the suddenly stopped eagle, then, following the system's prompt, pulled the trigger again, without thinking. Only a thin, almost invisible gray light shot from the muzzle, instantly piercing Eagle's chest. Time seemed to freeze for a second. Eagle stared incredulously at his chest. There was no wound, but he could clearly feel his beast soul essence rapidly dissipating. This was impossible. For the first time, his arrogance and indifference crumbled, replaced by extreme fear and bewilderment. He tried to mobilize his power to stop it, but found that his power was also within the range of loss. The wounds on his body, which had been healing automatically, suddenly stopped. Just then, a ferocious aura erupted from my body. The system voice in my mind sounded, detecting that the host is about to enter an awakening state. The host has finally returned to normal. I was so moved I wanted to cry. The system's voice had just fallen upon me. The surging aura drew gasps from those around me. Another 3S-level Awakener. God, am I seeing things? Is this an illusion? Lin Zhou's excited voice also rang out. Great. He finally came. At that moment, I swayed as I stood up, feeling that everything in my vision had changed. I looked at Yingfei again, and then revealed a disdainful smile. Yingfei, you're staring at me intently. You do indeed have a secret. If I devour you, my strength will definitely increase significantly. As soon as she finished speaking, Yingfei raised her fist to strike me. I didn't even bother to dodge and directly met her punch with my own. With a loud bang, I heard a crisp cracking sound from her arm. She looked at me in horror and then threw another punch. Seeing this, I suddenly raised my leg and kicked her away. Before he could react, he was sent flying backward, crashing through 2 walls before landing heavily on the rubble. The once arrogant Yingfei was now a pathetic mess, completely powerless to fight back. Seeing this dramatic turn of events, Song Xiaomantu was utterly bewildered. Wait, aren't they at the same level? How can Xiang Nan be so much stronger? Lin Zhou stared intently at me, seemingly pondering the same question. At that moment, I raised my hand again, ready to end Yingfei's life. Perhaps knowing he was doomed, he gave up struggling, only gripping my clothes tightly. Why are you so strong? I said, throwing a punch as I coldly glanced at him. Because 3S level was the upper limit of the detection bracelet, not my limit. Instantly, Yingfei's head exploded, and a red crystal fell out. With a thought, the crystal transformed into a pure red energy that slowly flowed into my palm. The system voice then sounded. Congratulations, host. You have successfully hunted an SSS-level extreme storm bear. Speed and strength have been slightly increased. Current recovery level is 5%. As the system's voice faded, the battle came to an end. Lin Zhou's gaze lingered on my face for a moment. Xiang Nan, are you alright? My expression was unusually gloomy. I'm in trouble, and it's serious. Lin Zhou looked worried and took a small step forward. What's wrong? Are you hurt somewhere? I pointed to the crushed toy gun and immediately burst into tears. My toy is broken. Seeing this, Lin Zhou instantly understood that this was my stupidity. His personality started acting up again, and he quickly patted my shoulder, telling me not to cry, that he'd buy me a new one later. Hearing this, I immediately stopped crying and even felt a little like laughing. The next day, a report ignited the entire Dragonbone region. This station reported that Yingfei, the leader of the Exiled organization group, had been killed. Those who disturb our dragon kingdom will be punished. No matter who you are, no matter how strong you are, if you dare to invade our dragon kingdom, you will pay a bloody price. The news caused a nationwide uproar. At the same time, I had just returned to the Superpower Bureau when Director Zhang immediately greeted me with a broad smile. On behalf of all members of the Superpower Bureau, he said, "Thank you for your outstanding contribution to maintaining order in Jiangdong City. Therefore, I hereby award you the Top Glory Executor Medal. With this medal, you can freely enter and leave any place in the Dragon Kingdom. There is a department or public official who must cooperate unconditionally, and you have the authority to command them, which is the highest level of authority in the Dragon Kingdom." After hearing this, I was immediately very happy. Although I didn't quite understand what the authority to command meant, I knew that I could go wherever I wanted in the future. I happily accepted the medal, but Director Zhang's smile disappeared, and he looked at me with a serious face. Xiang Nan said, "I think your talent is very strong, but even geniuses can have their downfall if they don't work hard. I suggest you go to the Dragon Bone Academy for systematic study." I blinked curiously. "What is the Dragon Bone Academy? Can you eat it?" Director Zhang patted my head. "The Dragon Kingdom Academy is a place that specializes in training awakened ones. There are many fun places inside. Although the Dragon Kingdom Academy's admission examination is extremely strict, you can be specially admitted directly. I've prepared the admission notice for you." Hearing this, I was a little surprised, but thinking it was a fun place, I accepted it anyway. A few days later, I walked into the gates of Dragon Kingdom Academy according to the address. Everything in front of me felt incredibly novel. Not far ahead, I heard a series of heavy impacts and commotion. Seeing that there was a large crowd, I quickly ran over. "What are you doing?" After finally squeezing into the crowd, I found that there were many young awakened individuals in the middle. At the front of the crowd was a strength tester, next to which sat a bearded male teacher. "Anyone else going to be tested? Hurry up." A punch with a force exceeding 500 kilograms is considered passing the first test. As soon as he finished speaking, a young man mustered his courage, stood in front of the strength tester, and roared, throwing a punch. The numbers on the strength tester jumped wildly before finally stopping at 250 kilograms. Upon seeing this number, the surrounding people burst into laughter. "That's an auspicious number, but it's still not as good as mine," the bearded male teacher said impatiently, waving his hand dismissively. Go away. With this kind of strength, you're taking the exam. Go home and raise pigs. Anyone else want to take the test? If no one, I'll pack up." While everyone was looking at each other blankly, I excitedly raised my hand and said, "Let me try to." Then, under everyone's gaze, I walked to the strength tester. It was probably rare to see someone as relaxed and completely unnerved as me. The eyes of those around me held a hint of anticipation. I imitated others, breathing twice onto my small fist, and then softly punched it. One cracking sound followed. A slight cracking sound from my joints made me quickly pull my hand back. Ouch! What is this thing? It's so hard. The force gauge finally stopped at 40 kilograms. Seeing this, everyone burst out laughing. Haha, 40 kilograms. This guy's a joke. Even the bearded teacher was speechless. He waved me off impatiently. "Kid, are you kidding me? Go home already. Don't let me see you again." Those who had initially failed the test immediately became gloating. "So, I'm 250, isn't that the lowest? We have to thank this guy. He came to the rescue." I'm not ashamed at all now. Hearing the surrounding laughter, I just glanced at them indifferently and reached into my pocket, pulling out a special admission notice. Do I really have to go home? I wonder if the Supernatural Abilities Bureau will agree. Seeing the words "special recruitment" in big letters, the bearded male teacher's eyes widened immediately. "You're being specially recruited? What kind of exam are you taking?" I smugly danced around. "I have an admission notice. I'm not going in." "Hey, I'm just playing around. You guys keep taking the exam." I left, watching my departing figure. Those students who had mocked me before were petrified on the spot. The next day, after the class assignments, I found a perfect spot in the middle by the window. Not long after I settled in, a boy suspiciously sat down next to me. "Brother, my name is Huang Kai. See, you're one of us. I've compiled a ranking of the freshman school beauties for only 98 yuan. You won't regret it. Plus, it includes exclusive information on Li Mushua, the national goddess." I glanced at the cover of the ranking in her hand, and immediately, losing interest, Huang Kai thought, "What's not as good looking as my Peppa Pig?" No. Just as Huang Kai was about to continue persuading her, the previously noisy classroom suddenly quieted down. A radiant girl walked in, surrounded by a group of people. Seeing this, Huang Kai excitedly nudged her with his elbow. "Yes, bro, I wasn't lying to you, was I? Look at her face. Look at those long legs." At this moment, Li Mushua merely glanced around the classroom and walked straight towards them. Seeing the goddess getting closer and closer, Huang Kai hurriedly straightened his clothes. "Bro, I didn't expect my luck with women to arrive on the first day of school. She must have a crush on me." But the next second, Li Mushua lightly tapped her finger on the desk. "Excuse me, Could you please move your seat? I wanted to sit with this classmate, but after saying that, he didn't look at Huang Kai again. Huang Kai glared at me fiercely and eventually walked to the back. By this time, almost all the students in the classroom had arrived. Then, a middle-aged man walked in. Hello everyone, I am Director Zhao of the college, and I will also be your visiting teacher from now on. Is everyone here? Now let's begin the class. As soon as he finished speaking, the door was pushed open, and an inexplicable chill instantly swept through the entire classroom. Several students around me subconsciously shrank their necks. I looked up and saw a girl standing at the door with her head down. The classmate next to me also came over at this moment. It's Ying. Don't underestimate him just because he's unlucky. Upon hearing this, I immediately understood. So he was the legendary curse-summoning spirit. It is said that anyone who crosses paths with him will be plagued by misfortune, and only the chosen ones with extraordinary luck can escape it. Director Zhao's expression on the podium changed several times before he finally managed a kind smile. Ying, I know about your situation, but I hope that by coming to Longbow Academy, you can feel the warmth and successfully integrate into this big family. After saying this, Director Zhao nervously scanned the classroom, seemingly checking to see if anything ominous had happened. Just then, a sharp, cracking sound came from above. Director Zhao instinctively looked up and saw the old ceiling fan fall straight down, hitting him squarely in the face. He screamed and fell to the ground. Seeing this, I, sitting in my seat, laughed so hard I slapped my thigh. Finally, some excitement. School is really fun. Meanwhile, Zhao, the director, walked shakily to the podium, no longer daring to look at Ying. He then began to talk about the period of change. At this moment, Huang Kai, who was sitting behind me, used his pen cap to ask, "Brother, what's your relationship with Li Muxiu? Why did he specifically ask you to be his girlfriend?" Without turning his head, I replied, "We have no relationship." He insisted on being my girlfriend, but I didn't agree. It's so annoying. Hearing this, Huang Kai's lips twitched. Indeed, it was quite annoying. Just as he finished speaking, Principal Zhang Hongda pushed open the front door and walked in. His gaze fell directly on me. "Hello, student Xiang Nan," I said, looking around. "You must be one of the students' parents." Hearing my question, Li Zhixing quickly smiled and waved his hand. No, I'm the principal of Longbow Academy." Hearing this, I nodded thoughtfully. The principal must be the highest-ranking official in the school, right? Hearing this, Li Zhixing immediately patted his chest proudly. "Of course. I'm in charge of everything, big and small, at school." I patted his shoulder after hearing his words. "All right, from now on, I'm the principal." Upon hearing this, Li Zhixing almost fainted. Even Huang Kai behind him couldn't help but secretly give me a thumbs up, clearly admiring my move. Li Zhixing took a deep breath and could only look at me helplessly. All right, from today onwards, you're the principal." I nodded in satisfaction with this result. That evening, as soon as I returned to my dormitory, my father, Xiang Changfeng, called. "Son, how's school? Are you adjusting well? Are you eating well? Is anyone bullying you?" Facing my father's barrage of questions, I nodded while holding the phone. "Great, I've become the principal." After I said that, there was a moment of complete silence on the other end of the phone. Several seconds later, my father's slightly trembling voice came through. "What? You said you became what?" I replied in my usual casual tone. "The principal? This morning, the previous principal gave me his position. I'm going to take a shower now." The next morning, as soon as I sat down, I smelled a delicious aroma. Then, a cream cake was pushed in front of me. I turned around and saw Lin Muxua smiling at me. "Eat up," I said. I got up early to make this. Although I didn't quite understand his purpose, the aroma was too irresistible. I couldn't resist the temptation of this delicious food and picked up my fork without hesitation. Seeing me start eating, Li Muxua, I rested my chin on my hand and watched quietly. Just then, he opened a bottle of water and handed it to me. "Have some water, don't choke." The students around me couldn't hold back anymore when they saw this. I could even hear Huang Kai in the back seat tearing at his hair and making a frantic growl. Just then, the bell rang for class. Li Zhixing practically stepped on the bell, pushed open the door, and walked to the podium. He cleared his throat and said, "Today's class will be taught by the principal himself. We won't learn the theory, but rather practice how to use Horcruxes." Hearing this piqued my interest. "What is this?" I listened as he continued to explain. "I'm sure you've all heard about Horcruxes. I'm one of the founders, so no one knows more about Horcruxes than me because their use has a wide impact." We gathered in front of the gymnasium, and I quickly followed the group there. In the middle of the gymnasium stood more than 10 alloy cuboids. Curious, I walked up and knocked on one, immediately recoiling in pain from its hard texture. At that moment, Li Zhixing walked to a nearby shelf, took down a gleaming longsword, and held it up to show everyone. "This is a soul weapon," he said. "This sword is called the steel-cutting sword, because the soul crystal embedded inside is B-grade. It's also a B-grade soul weapon. Activating a soul weapon means using our soul power to draw upon the power of the soul crystal within." As soon as he finished speaking, Li Zhixing closed his eyes, and the soul crystal on the hilt lit up. A sharp whistling sound rang out, and Li Zhixing swung the longsword down. But the black steel pillar in front of him remained unchanged. Just as everyone was wondering what was happening, the sturdy pillar slowly broke in the middle. The cracked upper part fell to the ground, and the students erupted in cheers. Li Zhixing, looking smug, glanced at me habitually, probably wanting to see my shocked expression. Unfortunately, I was too busy admiring the structure of the gymnasium to notice his supposedly miraculous skill. He had no choice but to turn away and address the class. "Study hard, and you'll reach my level someday. Now, anyone want to practice?" Before he finished speaking, a tall boy immediately raised his hand. "I'll go." Li Zhixing handed him the knife. "This knife is very sharp. Don't hurt yourself." The boy confidently patted his chest. The principal, reassured, paused for a moment. Then, mimicking Li Zhixing's gesture, raised his hand and slashed at the steel pillar. A piercing metallic clang rang out, followed by the boy clutching his shattered hand and howling in pain. Not a single scratch appeared on the steel pillar. Seeing this, the students burst into laughter. One after another, students went up to try, but none succeeded. Seeing the students' heads bowed in dejection, the former principal turned to me, Xiang Nan, and said, "Why don't you try it?" Thinking the knife looked interesting, I went up and took the long sword from Li Zhixing. Almost simultaneously, all eyes in the room focused on it. When it came to me, Li Muxue clenched her fists and cheered me on, saying, Go, you can do it." Meanwhile, the other classmates whispered amongst themselves, "I'll see what makes him so special that he can win over the goddess Muxue's heart." A special admission student whose force gauge can only handle 40 kilograms must have gotten in through connections. I ignored the surrounding mockery and stood before the tungsten steel pillar, slowly raising my steel slicing blade. Just then, the system voice announced, "System enhancement activated. Steel slicing blade becomes sky splitter." System reminder, because this enhancement is for a real weapon, its power is immense. Please do not injure yourself. In an instant, golden light flashed in my hand, completely covering the blade. With a low shout, I slashed down heavily, a dazzling blade of light instantly tearing through the air. The first steel pillar to be struck was instantly pulverized into dust. But this was just the beginning. The blade of light continued to surge backward, shattering more than 10 tungsten steel pillars lined up behind it one after another. With a deafening roar, the entire stadium trembled. A long gash appeared on the distant wall, and half of the wall was on the verge of collapse. I gripped the sword in one hand and flashed a victory sign at the stunned crowd with the other. Success! The students around me instantly erupted in cheers. What just happened? I don't know. Maybe I'm dreaming. Is this all real? Holy crap, that's too strong. Li Zhixing, standing nearby, froze. Damn, I don't even need to teach him. Just as he was stunned, a small piece of broken stone from the roof fell right on his head. Li Zhixing looked around and immediately realized an even more serious problem. Damn it, my gymnasium is completely destroyed. What's the point of practicing now? Class dismissed. Hearing class dismissed, I ignored everyone else, grabbed my knife, and headed out. Li Zhixing glanced back and suddenly shouted, "Wait, they even took my knife." But I had already vanished without a trace. Under the guidance of many teachers, the students quickly learned the basics, but everyone understood the core method for improving their strength. The method remained the same, absorbing soul crystals. Soon it arrived at the Dragon Kingdom Academy's most distinctive hunting season. To effectively enhance students' combat abilities, the Academy had specially built a huge hunting ground and regularly released mutated monsters into it. This way, students could not only hone their skills through real battles with mutated monsters, but also obtain valuable soul crystals. Upon hearing this news, the entire Academy was excited. As for me, I lived as usual, strolling around the academy with Huang Kai and occasionally having a meal with Li Muxue. Finally, the day arrived for the hunting grounds. Because going to the hunting grounds was somewhat dangerous, this time, Li Zhixing personally led the team, walking at the very front and turning to face everyone. Once at the hunting grounds, everyone must be extremely careful and absolutely must not run around. You must remain vigilant at all times. You can also form your own small teams, working together to ensure safety and greatly increase your hunting success rate. Along the way, the students walked in groups, except for one girl with messy hair who stayed far away from the group. I suddenly remembered that Ji Yunqing had a constitution that attracted misfortune and spirits because of her excessive energy. It would be very cool to be near her. This was a good way to escape the heat, so I quickly looked towards Ji Yunqing. As soon as I looked over, she noticed my gaze. Then, Qing walked even faster. I scoffed. TCH, so stingy. Won't even let me use the air conditioning. Finally, after 2 hours, we arrived at the hunting grounds. Li Hixing looked at everyone. Every so often, the Academy releases C- or B-grade mutated monsters there to fight and devour each other. Some of the stronger mutated monsters will grow to A-grade. Hunting these mutated monsters will yield A-grade soul essence. Of course, once a mutated monster reaches A-grade, it must be killed immediately, otherwise, it might escalate into an uncontrollable situation. Come on, let's go in. I'll take you to find an A-grade mutated monster first. Then, the students nervously followed Li Zhixing into the forest. As soon as we entered the forest, everyone fell silent, cautiously surveying their surroundings, afraid that something might suddenly leap out from the depths of the jungle. I also focused my attention, my eyes darting around. Just then, Huang Kai suddenly pointed ahead. Look, there's a huge footprint. Li Zhixing grinned. Can any of you tell what kind of mutant monster it is based on this footprint? Hearing this, the students quickly gathered around. One student pointed at the footprint. Such a big footprint. Could it be Godzilla? Another student laughed out loud. Are you kidding me? Godzilla's footprint is even bigger than this, so this must be a miniature Godzilla. The students discussed amongst themselves, but couldn't come up with a definitive answer. At this moment, I stepped forward. The previous step was a rhinoceros footprint. This is a type of A-level mutated rhinoceros, weighing approximately 3 tons. Its defense is extremely strong, its weakness being the third vertebra on its back. It is nocturnal, and at this time, it should still be sleeping. Li Zhixing looked at me in disbelief. Yes, absolutely correct. This is indeed the territory of the rhinoceros. The students' shocked gazes immediately focused on me. One student gave a thumbs up. This is too strong. No wonder you're a master. Not only are you strong, but your theory is also amazing. Another student nodded repeatedly. Yes, and you even deduced that the mutated beast was sleeping. Awesome. Congratulations, host. You've learned to answer first. 666-inch, led by Li Zhixing. Everyone followed the rhinoceros's tracks and soon found a clearing ahead. A huge monster was sleeping among the rocks. Li Zhixing turned to face the group. Anyone want to fight it? He asked. The students looked at each other, and for a moment no one dared to step forward. Just then, Ji Yunqing stepped forward. I'll do it. Ji Yunqing stared intently at the rhinoceros. The next second, several black vengeful spirits shot out from behind him and pounced on the rhinoceros, instantly waking it from its slumber. The rhinoceros let out a low growl of unease, but it was too late. The vengeful spirits had already entered its body. The rhinoceros then let out a series of mournful howls and roars. The students gasped. It was too powerful. The rhinoceros had no ability to fight back. Soon, the rhinoceros, with a thud, his body crashed to the ground, and several vengeful spirits emerged and returned to Ji Yunqing's body. Li Zhixing coughed twice. Students, did you see that? You should hunt mutated monsters like this too. Now you can move around freely. Go find some suitable mutated monsters to hunt, preferably in groups of several. As soon as he finished speaking, he felt a gust of cold wind sweep by. He saw Ji Yunqing squatting on the ground, eyes closed, chanting 100 Ghosts Night Parade in a low voice. In an instant, countless vengeful spirits burrowed into the ground along Ji Yunqing's arm and then roared and scattered. Before long, hysterical screams of mutated monsters came from all directions. The students gasped again. Not long after, the screams stopped. Ji Yunqing withdrew all the vengeful spirits and slowly stood up from the ground. All the mutated monsters around him. Having finished hunting, I curiously walked up to Ji Yunqing. You really have a ghost on you? Ji Yunqing coldly took a step back, keeping his distance from me. I glared at him, annoyed. Don't be so stingy. Where did those ghosts go? Summon them, and let me see. This action made all the students hold their breath, fearing that I would be in big trouble the next second. Ji Yunqing's body trembled, as if he was trying his best to restrain something. May the system protect you and ward off bad luck. I smiled slightly. Why are you looking at me like that? But it's really cool around you. My unharmed state surprised everyone, including Ji Yunqing. One student whispered, "What's going on? I don't seem to be in trouble." Another guessed, "Could Xiang Nan be the legendary chosen one?" Just then, Huang, mustering his courage, he stepped forward and approached Ji Yunqing. He twisted his body and found nothing amiss. Huang chuckled, "Really nothing? Hey, you really are the chosen one." Ji Yunqing stared blankly at the two of them, as if her worldview had been shattered. She quickly turned away, creating a considerable distance between them. Li Zhixing finally recovered from his shock and announced with a bitter expression, "All right, this hunt is over. Next time, I'll find you another hunting ground. Let's go back now." Hearing this, the students all looked bitter. Their week-long hunt had ended so dramatically. Back in the principal's office, Director Zhao looked at Li Zhixing with concern. "Principal, our week-long hunt has ended just like that. We can't train a new batch of mutant monsters in a short time. What should we do?" Li Zhixing waved his hand. "I plan to take them to the real battlefield. Aren't they supposed to be able to wipe out the entire map? I'll show you how to wipe out another one then." Upon hearing this, the headmaster's face showed surprise. "Principal, isn't this inappropriate? The border battlefield is not a place where we can afford to lose. It's not something we can just go to because we're strong. What about Ji Yunqing's cursed spirit constitution? What if we're killed by our own people instead of by the enemy? And Xiang Nan, his mind is sometimes stupid and sometimes not. It's not very stable." Li Zhixing patted Director Zhao's shoulder. "Don't worry. Xiang Nan will definitely be fine. There's no time to wait anymore. The pressure on the front line is huge. I'll take them to a small place to try it out first." The next day, Li Zhixing walked steadily onto the podium. "Because Ji Yunqing's strength is too strong, our last hunting operation ended too quickly. Therefore, I've decided to give everyone another hunting ground." Upon hearing this, the students immediately became noisy. "Yes, we've practiced for so long and haven't even had a chance to use it. I still want to hunt mutant monsters." Li Zhixing nodded. "The hunting ground can't be built in the short term. Since you all want to kill mutant monsters so much, I've decided to take you all directly to the border battlefield. But since the border is quite dangerous, it's voluntary. Those who don't want to go can continue practicing at school." Hearing that I could choose, I immediately raised my hand. "I won't go. Staying at school is so much fun." Li Zhixing's expression immediately fell. Suddenly, a thought struck him. "Xiao Nan, you're our principal. If you don't go, who will lead us?" These words really resonated with me. "You're right. I have to take the lead." At this moment, the other students started discussing, and finally, 10 people were chosen to go to the border battlefield, including Li Muxu. The matter was settled. In the afternoon, everyone finished preparing and boarded the transport helicopter one after another. The helicopter carried not only freshmen from my class, but also some senior graduates heading to the border battlefield. About 3 hours later, the helicopter began its descent. Li Zhixing led everyone off the helicopter. A group of people were standing outside to greet me. A middle-aged man with a square face smiled and stepped forward. "Old Li, you've come at the right time. I'm short-handed right now. How are the students you brought this time? Do you have any with strong command and combat abilities?" Hearing this, I slowly walked forward. "Are you talking about me? I often command operations and have never failed. You must be the highest-ranking officer here." The man patted his shoulder insignia. "That's right. I am Su Jiangwo, the commander-in-chief of the border camp." I nodded. "Then we're colleagues. I'll be in command from now on. You can rest." Su Jiangwo's eyes widened instantly. Li Zhixing quickly stepped forward to block us. "All right, let's go inside and talk. Let's get the situation straight." Soon we arrived at a conference room. Before everyone could stand still, Su Jiangwo pointed to the map on the large screen. Starting yesterday, all 4 outer monitoring stations were simultaneously attacked by mutated monsters. In particular, monitoring station number 2 has been found to have traces of an exiled organization. The situation is urgent. Every monitoring station is requesting reinforcements, but we're out of manpower. So, Laoli, we'll have to rely on you guys from now on." Li Zhixing was about to speak when a soldier rushed in. "Commander, monitoring station number 2 has been attacked by an exiled organization and has lost communication signals." After hearing the report, Su Jiangwo slammed his fist on the conference table. "It must be the exiled organization taking advantage of." Li Zhixing's fingers swiftly swept across the map as he made a decision. "I'll divide the students into 4 groups. I'll personally lead one team to deal with the exiled organization, and the other 3 groups will deal with the mutated monsters. but I waved my hand, interrupting his plan. Go fight the mutated monsters. I'll go find the exiled organization. Hearing this, Su Jiangwo looked at Li Zhixing, but Li Zhixing nodded at him. Don't worry, Xiang Nan has the ability. Then everyone quickly went to collect their combat equipment. I changed into a crisp combat uniform, clipped the communicator to my collar, then pulled up my collar, tilted my head, and started testing the potato. Potato, this is sweet potato. Received. Please respond. Huang Kai patted my shoulder helplessly. Sir, I'm right behind you. Can we not use the communicator? Soon, I led Huang Kai, Li Muxue, and Ji Yunqing towards the second monitoring station. Meanwhile, inside monitoring station number 2, over 20 clawed spiders were surrounding several people, including Long Fei, the captain of the guard team. He gripped a dagger tightly, his chest heaving violently. Behind him stood Zhang Xiaoman, a trembling researcher in a white lab coat. Long Fei gritted his teeth, shielding Zhang Xiaoman behind him. Don't be afraid, I'll fight my way out. At this moment, the woman in red at the forefront of the spider swarm chuckled. Long Fei, I quite admire you. Why don't you join our Flow Web organization? An old scholar trapped in the spider web struggled to raise his head and roared at the woman in red. I'd rather die than be humiliated. If you have the guts, kill me now. The woman in red extended a finger painted with bright red nail polish and touched her lips. Dr. Li, you're dreaming. Didn't you want to study my mutated spiders? There are a few. I'm going to lay my eggs in your belly, and I'll use you as a breeding stock. Upon hearing this, the bound people's expressions changed drastically. Just then, Huang Kai stopped. There seemed to be some movement ahead. Let's go check it out. So we followed the sound and soon found a woman in red and a group of people. This is it. A burly man opposite glanced at us, his expression unfriendly, and blocked our way. What are you doing? Huang Kai stepped forward. We're from the Dragon Kingdom Academy, here to reinforce you. The woman in red listened with interest, looking us up and down. No wonder you're so young. You're students from the school. Students daring to come to the battlefield to reinforce you? You're practically courting death. But it's fine. This way my spider breeding stock will have a few more. Hearing this, Huang Kai's anger flared up immediately. He turned sharply to Sir. Today none of you should lay a hand on them. Let me kill them. I nodded slightly to him. The woman in red snorted coldly. Before the boastful words had even finished, a clawed spider darted out from the side, slashing at Huang Kai with incredible speed. Faced with this sudden attack, Huang Kai remained rooted to the spot, not even bothering to dodge. Seeing this, the woman in red curled her lip in disdain. So slow? Probably not even a B rank, she thought. But the next second, Huang Kai casually raised his hand and firmly caught the spider's claws. His body didn't budge an inch. No matter how the giant spider struggled, it couldn't shake him an inch. Seeing it couldn't break free, the spider immediately used its other legs to stab at Huang Kai. But Huang Kai simply grabbed the spider's legs and flung it aside. The spider crashed heavily to the ground, twitched twice, and then fell silent. Those around gasped at the sight. Even Li Mushue's beautiful eyes filled with astonishment. Huang Kai's expression became unusually serious. He walked straight towards the woman in red and the swarm of spiders behind her. It was time to show his skills. Then, as he walked, he reached out and unbuttoned his shirt, revealing his entire upper body. When everyone saw what he was wearing, they were all extremely surprised. Huang Kai's elbows, shoulders, back of the neck, and his entire spine were inlaid with soul crystals of various sizes. These soul crystals seemed to have grown into his flesh and blood. More than 10 of them shone with S-rank light. Huang Kai turned to us with a domineering smile. Do you know why I don't use soul weapons? Because I myself am a soul weapon. I know that even if I were to reach a high level, it would be difficult to have formidable combat power with my talent. Therefore, I can only strengthen my body using my own abilities. Before he finished speaking, dozens of S-rank soul crystals on Huang Kai's body shone with a dazzling light. His aura reached its peak at that moment. He murmured, "Destroy," and then his figure flashed and disappeared from the spot. Soon, Huang Kai's figure reappeared, and the dazzling light on his body dimmed. He bent down to pick up his clothes from the ground. About a breath after the hunt ended, the spider monsters' heads exploded without warning. The woman in red and the spiders behind her fell to the ground one after another, and the surroundings instantly fell into a deathly silence. Huang Kai seemed quite satisfied with this. He draped his clothes over his shoulder with one hand, put the other on his hip, and struck what he thought was a cool pose. But after waiting for a while, he didn't receive the cheers we expected. He felt something was wrong and turned around in confusion. Only then did he realize that while he was performing, we had rescued Zhang Xiaoman from the spider silk. At this moment, Zhang Xiaoman was tightly holding my hand, thanking us for coming to our aid. They saved our lives. Huang Kai looked at the scene with a face full of confusion. Long Fei bowed repeatedly to me, thanking me profusely. Thank you so much. Afterwards, Dr. Li and the other bound soldiers were also rescued, but they were all injured, with Long Fei being the most seriously injured and needing to return to camp immediately to recuperate. Since our mission was complete, we decided to go back with them. Before leaving, the soldiers began to clean up the battlefield and remove the claws of the mutated spiders. I looked at them curiously. What do you need these things for? Xiang Nan took the initiative to come over and explain that they had a research project to forge the bones of mutated monsters into soul weapons to enhance their hardness. Hearing this, I immediately lost interest. The journey back to camp was not easy. We passed through layers of checkpoints and underwent various instrument scans and checks. It was said that this was to ensure that those who returned were free of infection. The necessary procedures for infection. Su Jiangwo was already waiting in the camp. When he saw us return first, he showed a surprised expression. Long Fei immediately stepped forward to report the situation to him. The more Su Jiangwo listened, the more shocked he became. As expected, Longbow Academy does not accept trash. In that case, let's have a party tonight to celebrate the successful defense and welcome all students. That night, I was eating heartily in my seat, while Huang Kai next to me kept staring at Zhang Xiaoman in the distance and grinning foolishly. I suddenly turned my head and looked him over, then reached out and groped him. Huang Kai was startled by my actions and quickly stood up to dodge. Sir, what are you doing? I stopped and held out my hand to him. Let me see the soul crystal. On the other side, at the base of the Exiled organization, a middle-aged leader sat in the main seat with a gloomy face. Can someone give me an explanation? The people on both sides were silent for a moment before one of them slowly stood up. It is said that Longbow Academy, Li Hixing brought students to the border battlefield. Only Li Zhixing could kill those spiders. Homu's eyebrows shot up upon hearing this name. Bringing students to the battlefield for trials? That's incredibly bold. They don't take us seriously at all. Since an S-rank figure is involved, it seems we really need to get serious. Activate our hunter team and tell them the prey has arrived. Meanwhile, back at camp, I was playing games with Li Muxua when Li Zhixing showed up. The camp command center was in chaos because the monitoring station had discovered traces of an S-rank mutated monster in the uncontrolled area, a pit bull with 3 heads. Although the monster was only wandering around the camp, it's better to take the initiative than to passively defend. Yu Jiangwo assigned us 2 A-ranked deputies, Long Fei and Su Lan, but I still hope you can join me. Let's go together. After saying that, Li Zhixing stared intently at me. Hearing a dog with 3 heads, I immediately agreed. The 4 of us walked out of the checkpoint and stepped into the chaotic land. I immediately noticed an S-rank soul weapon, the Night Demon Blade, slung on Li Zhixing's back. I moved closer. Sure enough, Li Zhixing seemed to sense my gaze and warily protected the blade on his back. What are you trying to do? You haven't returned my steel-cutting blade from last time. Don't even think about this one. I snorted disdainfully. You stingy little brat, I don't care. Li Zhixing finally breathed a sigh of relief. Just then, Su Jiangwo's voice came through the communicator. That mutated monster has reappeared near monitoring station 3. We can basically pinpoint its approximate activity range. Hearing this, we immediately headed in that direction. Soon, the 4 of us arrived near our target area. Li Zhixing raised his hand to signal us, and he warily scanned. Be careful. The mutated monster is in this area. Long Fei and Su Lan immediately split up to search for the monster's tracks. Soon, they found some damp. Li Zhixing stepped forward, dipped his finger in it, and smelled it. He then looked up with certainty and said, "It's dog urine." Long Fei and Su Lan nodded knowingly. I glanced at Li Zhixing's finger. Does it smell good? Li Zhixing's face instantly darkened. We continued searching along the tracks and soon found another set of huge footprints. The footprints extended into unfamiliar territory we had never been to before. At this moment, Su Jiangwo's voice came through the communicator again. The mutated monster has gone far away. Our current location is beyond the camp's ability to provide rapid support. I suggest we stop chasing. Li Zhixing also sensed the danger and turned to lead us to retreat. Just then, a low growl suddenly came from behind a boulder in the distance, followed by a black giant dog with 3 heads slowly walking. Long Fei's eyes instantly. As soon as he finished speaking, he drew his dagger and pounced on the big black dog like an arrow. Su Lan, seeing this, immediately followed suit. The 2 attacked the dog from the left and right simultaneously. Unexpectedly, the big black dog turned and ran when it saw people rushing towards it. Seeing that it was going to escape, Long Fei accelerated, and Li Zhixing and Su Lan immediately gave chase. Just as they were about to catch up with the dog, the 3 of them suddenly stopped, as if they had hit an invisible wall. They stopped abruptly in place, as if they had discovered something ahead. They stood there blankly, not moving. I quickly ran up to them and said, "Why are you three chasing a dog so fast? Can't you wait for me for a while?" When I got there, I saw a woman and three burly foreign men. Li Hixing seemed very afraid of them. I heard Li Zhixing's trembling voice say, "You are Roddy." The burly man's lips curled up slightly. I didn't expect Principal Li to recognize me. "That's right. We are the Exiled organization, the beast hunting team. Today, we'll take care of everyone. Leave them all here as a treat for our puppies." As soon as he finished speaking, the hunting team sprang into action. A tall member stomped his foot on the ground, and countless thick tree trunks burst forth, instantly surrounding Li Zhixing and his companions. At the same time, a gaunt young man swung his arms, transforming them into two mantis-like blades, using the force of the emerging tree trunks to reap the trapped group. Li Zhixing frowned. The tree trunks that had sprung from the ground not only surrounded them, but also completely blocked his vision. All he could see were thick tree trunks, making him momentarily unable to spot his enemies. Suddenly, he heard the sound of wind whistling past his ears, and the mantis blades were already slashing down from above. Li Zhixing reacted extremely quickly, pulling his hands out from behind his back. The demon-slaying blade was held horizontally above his head, and with a clang, the two weapons clashed, producing a metallic, menacing sound. Just then, Captain Roddy attacked from the side, striking Li Zhixing squarely in the side, sending him flying sideways. But Li Zhixing, still in midair, pushed off a thick tree trunk, using the momentum to land on the ground, managing to regain his balance. I saw a flash of green light at the spot where he had been struck in the ribs. Roddy's eyes narrowed slightly as expected of the principal of Dragon Kingdom Academy. He was quite tough. Just then, the female team member with the large black dog reappeared behind Li Zhixing, and the plant-type awaken user jumped down from a tree trunk, standing to Li Zhixing's left. The four of them and the dog surrounded Li Zhixing. The encirclement left him with no way to retreat. He could only desperately defend himself with his tortoise shell. After several attacks, his tortoise shell defense was finally shattered, and he fell from the sky, crashing heavily beside me. The mask knife in his hand also flew out of his grasp. Seeing this, I picked up Li Zhixing's mask knife and walked towards Roddy. A system notification sounded in my mind. System enhancement activated. Mask knife enhanced to the sky-splitting blade. Remind host, this is an S-rank soul weapon with immense power. Be extremely careful. As soon as the words were spoken, a dazzling golden light completely covered the longsword in my hand. I raised the longsword, and a brilliant blade light rose from the blade. I swung the sword down, and the blazing blade light swept out. With a whoosh, the solid ground collapsed where the blade light passed, and thick tree trunks were instantly twisted. Before the plant-type awakened being could even react, his entire body was reduced to nothingness by the blade's edge. Seeing this, Roddy's face turned deathly pale, because the blade's edge didn't stop there. Instead, it continued to sweep towards them. He screamed, "Run!" The woman with the black dog seemed not to understand what was happening before the blade slashed across him. The next second, he and his dog were completely pulverized. Roddy and the mantis awakened being had barely turned around when they were swallowed up by the raging blade's edge. Now, all that remained before me was a bottomless pit, the rubble at the edge still pushing inwards. I sheathed my sword and stood there, declaring the hunt over. Li Zhixing stared blankly at the scene before him, his Adam's apple bobbing. Long Fei and the other man beside him also stared wide-eyed, their faces filled with disbelief. Just then, my brow furrowed. Where did the soul crystals go? Did I cleave them in two with one strike? Li Zhixing quickly waved his hand. "No, we'll help you look for them." The three of them then jumped into the deep pit and began a thorough search. After a while, they finally retrieved several soul crystals that had been blasted far away by the shockwave. Afterwards, the four of us returned to the camp. The people waiting for us immediately surrounded us. "What happened? You really wiped out the beast hunting team." I felt bored and turned to walk towards my quarters. The next few days were peaceful in the camp, and the occasional mutated monsters that appeared outside were easily hunted down by the warriors. Until one day, I heard that Su Jiangwo had received an urgent request for help, saying that a zombie virus had broken out in a nearby town, infecting hundreds of people. The local Supernatural Abilities Bureau was completely unable to cope. Even more serious was that the document mentioned that this zombie outbreak was man-made. There might be high-level zombies lurking among the crowd, making the situation urgent. Li Jiangguo immediately gathered his men to prepare to quell the unrest. Upon hearing that we could enter the city, I immediately perked up and decided to go along. Mainly, the snacks I brought were almost finished, so it would be good to replenish our supplies in the city. Li Muxue also came along this time, along with the two captains, Long Fei and Su Long. I glanced at the three of them. "Very good. I will be in charge of this operation. Long Fei was obviously stunned for a moment, but still nodded obediently. I beckoned to them. All right, let's go. I'm a little hungry. Long Fei and the others looked at each other, clearly not following my train of thought. The four of us quickly got into a military green jeep and headed straight for the scene of the incident. It was just a small border town with a sparse population. As soon as the car stopped, a zombie with a blood-covered face pounced on us frantically. Long Fei stepped forward, and with a swift slash of his dagger, he easily chopped off its head, then looked around. The zombies here had to be wiped out completely. Even leaving one could cause a major disaster. Xuangda glanced ahead. The Supernatural Abilities Bureau had contacted me, saying they were fighting zombies up ahead. Let's hurry over, he said. My eyes, however, landed on a sizable supermarket on the side of the street. I pointed and said, don't rush, let's go there first. I excitedly ran inside. Just as I entered, I heard a cracking sound under my feet, followed by a roar from the back shelves. Long Fei and Xuangda reacted immediately and dealt with the zombies. I walked straight to the shelf, grabbed a can of potato chips, and started eating them, completely ignoring the corpses on the ground. After buying a large amount of stuff, we continued forward. Not long after, we heard cries for help. I saw a middle-aged captain shouting to the crowd, don't be afraid. I am Li Mingliang, the captain of the first squad of the Superpower Bureau. Please take cover in the building in an orderly manner. My team members are fighting the zombies. Please trust us. He gave orders while loudly guiding the people around him. They were all grateful to him, but I noticed a subtle smile playing on his lips as he turned away. Just then, a system notification popped up in my mind. System scan complete. Target, level A outdoor infected. I walked over and patted him on the shoulder. Li Mingliang turned around and saw me carrying a bag full of snacks. He waved impatiently. Hurry up and walk down the road. The zombies are coming soon. I looked at him curiously. Weren't we already here? Hearing my words, his brows furrowed slightly. Just then, Long Fei strode up and identified himself. Captain Li, we're not civilians. We came from the camp specifically to reinforce you. Upon hearing this, Li Mingliang's expression changed immediately. I ignored him and turned to the civilians who were preparing to retreat to the right, shouting, you can't go that way. You'll die if you keep going. People stopped and began to discuss the situation. What's going on? Isn't the right side safe? Yes. Captain Li said there are no monsters over there. Who should we listen to? Li Mingliang's face instantly darkened. Don't give such nonsense. The left side is full of zombies. The right side is safe. Long Fei and the others exchanged bewildered glances, clearly confused by the contradictory instructions. I'm too lazy to argue with him anymore, I said. Aren't you a zombie? Li Mingliang quickly reacted. Kid, you're here to cause trouble, aren't you? I'm the captain of the Supernatural Abilities Bureau. How could I be a zombie? The surrounding crowd was immediately incited by him. Yes, Captain Li. How could you be a zombie? Don't slander us. Hearing the crowd's defense, a smug smile appeared on Li Mingliang's lips again. I glanced around. The indignant crowd. Okay, wait a minute. I'm looking for something. I bent down and rummaged through my plastic bag. After a while, I pulled out a toy plastic gun and nodded. That's it. Everyone around me was stunned, completely not understanding what use a toy was. Li Mingliang couldn't help but smile sarcastically. In his eyes, I was already a crazy person with a broken mind. Just then, a mechanical system voice sounded in my mind. System enhancement activated. The toy gun has become an explosive gun. The next moment, without hesitation, I raised my hand and pulled the trigger at Li Mingliang. There was a muffled bang, and his chest was blown open with a large hole. Li Mingliang looked down at the hole in his chest, which was emitting black smoke, and was completely dumbfounded. Then, a piercing, inhuman roar escaped his lips. His skin began to rot rapidly, and fangs protruded from his mouth. But he was a level 1 ghoul. The flesh around the hole in his chest writhed, showing signs of healing. The surrounding crowd was stunned. They realized their trusted Captain Li had completely transformed into a monster. They cried out in alarm. Captain Li is a monster. Help! I pulled the trigger again, expressionless. This time, the bullet struck Li Mingliang squarely in the head. His roar abruptly ceased, and he collapsed to the ground, dead. People stared in horror, speechless. But Li Mingliang's death seemed to be a fuse after he fell. The entire city resounded with terror. Amidst the rising and falling shrill screams, the zombie rampage erupted completely. The road on the left side of the street collapsed violently, and several enormous zombie rats scurried out, biting anyone they saw. The crowd that had been retreating to the left was terrified. Many were instantly bitten to death. It turned out that Li Mingliang had sent them over there to use them as food for the rats. Long Fei and Su Lan reacted quickly, leaping forward and wielding their weapons, slaying the zombie rats. Meanwhile, at the right corner of the street, a large number of zombie monsters charged in. The surrounding people were stunned and panicked. I raised my pistol and blasted zombie after zombie into pieces. Li Muxua noticed that zombie monsters were attacking in other places as well, and the crowd quickly joined the fray to protect the people's safety. The scene became chaotic. I swept through the area with my explosive gun, and even A-level zombies couldn't withstand 2 shots from me. The zombies in front of me were quickly slaughtered. At that moment, I heard rapid footsteps from my right. Someone was rushing towards me. I immediately turned my gun and aimed. The person was startled and shouted, "Sir, don't fire." I saw that the person was Long Fei and Su Lang. I put my pistol away. Both of them were panting heavily, looking like they had used up a lot of energy. The zombies nearby had been cleared out, so we decided to return to the camp first. The atmosphere in the other camp was extremely tense, especially for Su Jiangwo, whose forehead was covered in cold sweat. He had just received news that a large number of zombies were coming from the depths of the chaotic land. Behind the horde of zombies lurked powerful behemoths. Su Jiangwo clenched his fists, forcing himself to calm down. "Comrades, abandon all monitoring stations. Everyone retreat to the camp for defense. Non-combat personnel, evacuate immediately. Everyone else, fight with me." The order was given. All soldiers in the camp quickly assembled at the outermost checkpoint. Su Jiangwo climbed the lookout tower and looked into the depths of the chaotic land. On the horizon, countless dark, monstrous zombies surged forth. The other soldiers were terrified at the sight of such a large number of zombies. Fortunately, they were only the lowest level zombies. There shouldn't be any problem. "Let's do it, brothers." The soldiers drew their soul weapons. But at the very rear of the zombie army, a giant python slowly raised its head. Standing on its head was a snake-headed figure in green robes. A cruel smile appeared on his face as he gazed towards the camp. The show was about to begin. As the zombie army approached, the soldiers formed a triangular formation and charged into the horde. With swift strokes, Huang Kai's figure flashed, and wherever he passed, zombie heads exploded, tearing a gap in the zombie army. The soldiers were greatly encouraged by this display of strength. This was a sure thing. At that very moment, Ji Yunqing pressed his hands to the ground, and thousands of vengeful spirits surged forth from beneath his feet. He roared, "100 ghosts march." Wherever the vengeful spirits passed, zombies fell to the ground, instantly creating a vacuum. The soldiers were amazed their skills were still inferior. They felt these zombies were no match for him. Li Zhixing, seeing this, breathed a sigh of relief, realizing that the battle wasn't as difficult as he had imagined. Just then, a huge snake head rose up in front of them, followed by a thick snake tail descending from the sky. Li Zhixing was startled and quickly dodged. Everyone scrambled to the side, the python's giant tail slamming heavily into the ground. The soldiers' formation was completely disrupted by this tail strike. Ji Yunqing frowned slightly as he looked at the giant snake, about to rush to its aid. But a young man with snake eyes appeared out of thin air in front of him. The young man looked at him with a playful smile. Ji Yunqing, a special type of spirit awakener, had long admired him. Ji Yunqing knew he was up to no good, so he didn't waste any more words. Behind him, countless vengeful spirits roared and pounced on him, but the young man stood still. His snake-like eyes suddenly narrowed and fixed on Ji Yunqing's eyes. Their eyes met, and Ji Yunqing suddenly froze. The young man was an SSS-level awakened one, and his most powerful ability was substitution. Although Ji Yunqing was strong, his heart was fragile. He had already fallen into an illusion. Ji Yunqing's body began to tremble violently. He tore at his own head with his hands, and then knelt on the ground, letting out a painful howl. The vengeful spirits around him were infected by his emotions and roared along with him. Seeing this scene, everyone's heart suddenly tightened. Fan turned to look at him. Li Zhixing saw the young man's pupils shrink to pinpoints. It was him. How could he be here? No one knew his name. People called him Huan Tong. The Exiled organization referred to him as their instructor, one of their core members. At that moment, a blonde, blue-eyed woman walked out from behind. "Boss." Huang Kai reappeared in place. "I can't stand seeing anyone bully my sister." But as soon as he regained his footing, he was struck hard in the back and fell forward. The attacker was the blonde, blue-eyed woman, Judy. Huang Kai stood up and rubbed his aching lower back. At that moment, Huan Tong also left. He rubbed his chin and then approached Huang Kai with a cold expression. At the same time, the shadow of a giant python rose up behind Huang Kai. Huang Kai looked around at the enemies surrounding him, his expression becoming serious. Surrounded, a red glow rose from his body. A burst of light erupted as he threw a punch at Judia, but at that moment, the woman's body transformed into a swarm of bats that scattered. Huang Kai's punch missed, and as the bats flew, illusionary eye appeared before him, slamming a punch into his face. Huang Kai took the full force of the blow and was sent flying backward. Immediately afterward, the scattered bats reformed into Judia's likeness before him. She grabbed Huang Kai's neck with one hand, opened her mouth, and bit him. Huang Kai was startled and desperately braced his hands against her head to resist. Then, Huang Kai unleashed all his strength, lifting the woman up and slamming her heavily to the ground. But the snake tail above her head had already. Seeing this, Li Zhixing and the others tensed up but dared not rush forward. Judia had already stood up. He looked at Huan Tong, the leader, whose strength was not weak. Huan Tong nodded, believing that the opponent was dead from the snake's tail strike. However, at this moment, the descending snake tail stopped in midair. Huan Tong and the others sensed something was wrong. Then, the giant python let out a painful roar, and its massive body was forcibly overturned. A figure slowly stood up from under the snake's body. It was Huang Kai. At the same time, the soul crystal on his body lit up, emitting a dazzling light. I'm not so easy to die. Huan Tong looked at the shining soul crystal on his body. Soul Crystal discovered that his illusions were completely ineffective against Huang Kai. No way we can attack together, he thought. As soon as he finished speaking, Judia transformed into a floating chrysanthemum and joined the attack. Huang Kai gritted his teeth and fought the two alone. He punched Judia in the face, but took a solid kick to the back from Huan Tong. Judia turned and delivered another punch. Every time Huang Kai fell, he would get up again. Huan Tong kicked Huang Kai, sending him flying into the air. Die. He then clenched his fists and slammed them into Huang Kai's abdomen, slamming him into the ground. Huan Tong had just breathed a sigh of relief when suddenly 3 figures surrounded them. Huan Tong's gaze. My expression instantly darkened. I stepped forward and scrutinized him. You did all this, Huan Tong sneered, his gaze sweeping over the 3 of us. That's right. You didn't think you could escape from the 3 of us on your own, did you? I slowly raised my hand. I have no intention of leaving. I just need to kill you all. When I looked up again, my eyes had shrunk into beast-like vertical pupils, entering an awakened state. Huan Tong and the other 2 instinctively took a half-step back. They stared into my eyes, reaching a point that resonated deep within their souls. What is this? Li Zhixing and the others were also dumbfounded. Xiang Nan had finally awakened. The eunuch opposite him frowned. The fanged strong man beside him. With a heavy tone, I leaned close to his ear. What do we do, sir? The eunuch stared intently at me, as if trying to see right through me. Do we still have a chance to escape? Hearing this, the burly man clenched his fists, and in the next instant, he and the eunuch Judia charged at me simultaneously. I simply raised my hand and unleashed a violent punch. A gust of wind instantly swept out, causing the 3 of them to sway unsteadily. Judia's body transformed into countless bats again, scattering in all directions. I immediately drew the demon, slaying blade from behind me, and casually swung it, slicing through the swarm of bats. Amidst the clashing blades, they fell one after another. Judia's figure plummeted from the midst of the chaos. Lion King seeing this, it roared and pounced on me with its massive body. I dodged its powerful attack with ease, and at the same time, I twisted my wrist and spun the blade, causing the Lion King's tall head to fall to the ground. I leaped into the air and kicked the flying head so precisely that it shattered into pieces, and a soul crystal flew out. I reached out and caught it firmly in my hand. Illusionary eyes watched this scene in horror. Before he could react, my body swayed, and when I reappeared, my hand was already on Judia's head. The sharp howl stopped abruptly. I exerted force with my 5 fingers. I crushed his head to pieces, and another soul crystal landed steadily in my hand. I turned my head, my gaze falling on Huan Tong. Only you remained. Huan Tong's body trembled violently, attempting to activate an illusion, but my beast eyes had already pierced through all illusions. The world in his eyes remained unchanged. Only my cold gaze remained. Huan Tong roared desperately to the sky. Why is there such a powerful being here? Before he finished speaking, his skin began to peel off inch by inch. Suddenly, his back split open, and several ferocious snake heads emerged, instantly transforming into a gigantic 9-headed demon serpent. The 9-headed demon serpent roared at me with unwillingness, but I said no more, preparing to swing my sword down. Just then, a system notification sounded in my mind. System, just passing by, enhance the demon-slaying blade to become the sky-splitting blade. In an instant, the long sword in my hand pierced through the air, a dazzling sharpness cutting across the sky. Wherever the sword light passed, the gigantic body of the 9-headed demon serpent instantly shattered into pieces. All his unwillingness and roars vanished at that moment. Then, The sword light swept across the sky and slowly dissipated. An SSS-level soul crystal fell with it. I raised my hand, caught it, and absorbed it directly. The system notification sounded again. Congratulations, host. You have successfully hunted 3 SSS targets. Current recovery level has reached 18%. The chaotic land returned to silence. Li Zhixing and the others stood there for a moment, then burst into enthusiastic cheers of relief. I looked towards the distant camp. The light in my beast eyes flashed and disappeared, then returned to normal. I turned and left, ready to go back and have some good food. After the battle, Su Jiangwo immediately sent people to clean up the battlefield. At this moment, Huang Kai was lying on a stretcher, clutching his wound and howling like a pig being slaughtered. Commander Su, I'm injured, very badly injured. I'm about to die. He then struggled to sit up and made a request with a righteous expression. I strongly request that Xiang Nan examine my body separately. Su Jiangwo looked troubled upon hearing this. Before the battle, I had already ordered all the researchers to retreat. Xiang Nan had already left. Huang Kai's small eyes widened instantly, as if he couldn't accept this bolt from the blue. He then slapped his forehead and collapsed back down. Oh no, my head hurts and my butt is all fuzzy. A moment later, a huge roar came from afar, and a helicopter slowly landed. The reinforcements from the Dragon Kingdom finally arrived at the camp. Su Jiangwo and the others were already waiting there. A young man with heterochromatic eyes slowly rolled off the plane. As soon as he got off, the young man stretched and said, I'm so tired from running around all day. I should have disguised myself as an S-class officer and maintained order in the country. Instead, I'm exhausted from carrying out secret missions. Su Jiangwo quickly greeted him with a smile. Look at what you said about the border. We couldn't do without you here. The young man narrowed his eyes and glanced at the wrecked battlefield. It's useless, isn't it? Su Jiangwo nodded with lingering fear. The young man who had been killed by Xiang Nan just nodded indifferently, seemingly unsurprised by the outcome. He then turned to Su Jiangwo and asked, Take me to see him. At that moment, I was sitting cross-legged on the sofa in the lounge, engrossed in playing a game. Su Jiangwo chuckled and pushed open the door. Sir, someone's here to see you? I turned around and looked at the heterochromatic young man. After looking him up and down, I found that he was empty-handed. I curled my lip and said, So, you're here to see someone? I don't know if you'll bring anything, the young man replied with a smile, completely unconcerned by my attitude. Hello, I'm Yifeng, a member of the Dragon King. Next time you come, I'll definitely bring something. After saying this, a glint flashed in Yifeng's strange pupils as he carefully examined me. He then discovered that I was indeed as rumored, with no energy fluctuations on my body, just like an ordinary person. With the arrival of Yifeng, this powerful ally, the warriors in the camp felt much more at ease. Li Zhixing also decided to take this opportunity to lead the students back to the Dragon Kingdom Academy to end this thrilling trial. However, Huang Kai couldn't go back temporarily because of a problem with his soul crystal, so he suggested going home to find his master to recuperate. Everyone then learned that he actually had a master. Huang Kai then looked at me expectantly and invited me to go with him to see his master. I thought about it and figured I had nothing better to do, so I agreed. Li Muxue and Ji Yunqing, hearing our conversation, also decided to go along and take Huang Kai home. That day, everyone parted at the camp gate. Li Zhixing looked at me with reluctance on his face, saying, When you're done with your work, come back to the academy to visit. I nodded. I'm the principal. After we left, Su Jiangwo, Long Fei, and the others came forward to say goodbye. Only Huang Kai looked regretful. Why did Xiaoman leave so early? If only she were here, Li Muxue said, rolling her eyes at him. All right. With your current sickly body, what could Xiaoman do even if she were here? Huang Kai raised an eyebrow. I seriously suspect you're being insincere, but I have no proof, Li Muxue said impatiently, waving her hand. Okay, let's go. I'll take you home. We then got into a jeep. Soon, the car entered a city called Lingshan City. Looking at the familiar street scenes outside the window, Huang Kai's eyes welled up with a strong sense of homesickness. As soon as the car stopped, he couldn't wait to jump out and reach for his clapper. He pounded on the door knocker against the courtyard gate, yelling at the top of his lungs. Master, your most handsome apprentice is back. Open the gate. His shouts only elicited a loud commotion from inside the courtyard. But after a long while, the gate remained tightly shut and no one answered. I leaned against the car door, looking at him suspiciously. Your master doesn't seem to know how to open doors. Huang Kai's face instantly fell. You don't think this dog's barking is my master, do you? That's my pet. I clapped my hands. So that's how it is. Li Muxue and Ji Yunqing beside me couldn't help but cover their mouths and chuckle. Just then, The door of the two-story building next door was suddenly pulled open, and a sleepy-eyed woman poked her head out. Who's knocking on the door? In broad daylight. Can't a person sleep? They still have to work tonight, Huang Kai said with a forced smile. Sisterly, it's me. I'm back. Where's my master? The woman, recognizing Huang Kai, glared at him, even more impatiently. Oh, it's you, kid. Don't knock here. Your master, that old geezer, went clubbing. He'll probably be back soon. The woman slammed the door shut and went inside without looking back. At that moment, we were all stunned. Li Muxue turned to Huang Kai. What do we do? Are we just going to wait outside? Huang Kai subconsciously reached into his pocket. Then suddenly his eyes lit up. Wait, I think I have a key, he said, pulling a rusty key from his pocket. Li Muxue looked at the key and raised her hand, ready to slap him. Damn it, you had a key. Why didn't you say so earlier? Did you force this civilized person to swear? Soon, Huang Kai opened the gate, and a pure yellow mongrel immediately rushed out, wagging its tail, and jumped into Huang Kai's arms. The dog licked his face with its tongue. Huang Kai hugged him and introduced him to us, saying, "This is our family's dog, named Xiao Huang." Hearing this name and thinking of Huang Kai, we all seemed to suddenly understand something, and our expressions became somewhat subtle. Huang Kai, oblivious to our strangeness, quickly and warmly invited us inside. "Please come in," he said. "Don't be shy. Make yourselves at home." We walked through the yard and into the two-story house. Huang Kai was very hospitable, bustling around, pouring us water and washing some fruit. Seeing there was food, I didn't hesitate to pick up an apple and start eating. About half an hour later, a loud engine roar came from outside the courtyard, and a car pulled up at the gate. Huang Kai immediately jumped up from the sofa, excited. My master is back. We turned around and saw a sprightly old man walking in through the gate. A system notification sounded in my mind. System scan complete. Target, sea-level insect type, awakened individual, flea with jumping ability. I thought to myself, no wonder he still loves going to nightclubs at his age. As soon as the old man entered, he saw Huang Kai and opened his arms to greet him. Big Huang, you're finally back. Huang Kai immediately burst into tears, rushing into the old man's arms like a fledgling returning to its nest, sobbing and crying. Master, I was beaten up, and everyone says I'm ugly. Do you think I'm really that ugly? The old man glanced at the faces of us strangers, then coughed awkwardly and lowered his voice, whispering in Huang Kai's ear. Didn't I tell you? Don't call me master in front of outsiders. Huang Kai was stunned for a moment, speechless, but still readily agreed. All right then, big brother. Li Muxue and the others couldn't hold back any longer and burst out laughing. The old man turned to them. So you're Huang Kai's friends, right? Rare guests, rare guests. I never expected him to make friends. Please don't be shy here. Li Muxue politely replied. Thank you, sir. But when the old man looked at him, he immediately took off his sunglasses, his eyes widening. You're Li Muxue, right? I used to be your fan. Come on, quickly sign an autograph for me. Li Muxue was momentarily at a loss. It seemed the root of Huang Kai's eccentricity had been found. At this moment, Li Muxue cleared her throat. Sir, you want to? If there's nothing else, we'll be going now, the old man said excitedly, grabbing my arm. Don't rush off. Since we've come all this way to Lingshan Temple, it would be such a waste not to explore the remote mountains on the border. If we're lucky, we can even improve our strength. Li Muxue thought this made a lot of sense. Then she turned to me, asking for my opinion. I nodded and agreed. Let's go now, I said. Since Huang Kai was injured, only Ji Yunqing, Li Muxue, and I will go. We got into the jeep. Li Muxue stepped on the gas, and the car slowly moved forward. But I patted his shoulder and turned around. Let's go back. Li Muxue was very puzzled, but the remote mountains on the border are ahead. I chuckled and said, going to the border? What the hell? Let's go to the amusement park in the deep mountains near the border, Li Muxue thought. After fighting for so long, it's time to relax. So she immediately turned the car around and drove towards the amusement park. The entrance was very lively. Ji Yunqing seemed a little awkward in the crowd. His eyes scanned the surroundings warily. He quietly followed behind me. The three of us entered the amusement park with the crowd. In front of us, a middle-aged man was advertising with a megaphone, Extra, extra. The largest haunted house in this amusement park is officially opening today. It's absolutely thrilling, exciting, and terrifying. If anyone can make it to the end, there are also dolls and other generous rewards for you to choose from. Come and join us. I was quite interested and turned to the two of them, waving. Let's go play in the haunted house. Upon hearing this, Ji Yunqing was stunned. Are you sure you want to take me to the haunted house? I smiled. Yes, you're not scared, are you? For him, going to the haunted house was not challenging at all. Staying in a crowded place made him feel more awkward. However, he finally agreed to go in for a stroll. Afterwards, Li Muxue bought 3 tickets, and we entered the haunted house from the entrance. There were also 3 other people with us. 4 college students, 1 female and 1 male, looked tense. One of the girls trembled slightly. "I'm so scared. Maybe we shouldn't go," she said. The boy immediately encouraged her. "It's okay. We've already bought the tickets. Let's go in and take a look. Just stick close to me." As soon as they entered the haunted house, faint roars could be heard from afar, growing clearer and clearer. A petite girl immediately backed out. "This is too scary. Maybe we should go out," the boy said, trying to sound calm. He reassured her. "It's okay. It's all fake. What are we afraid of?" But his own voice was visibly trembling. At this moment, the 4 college students dared not go any further. I, however, felt nothing and simply stepped forward. Ji Yinqing followed behind me expressionlessly. Seeing this, the 4 college students cautiously followed. Soon, they saw several corpses leaning against the wall ahead and couldn't help but wonder, could this be real? I ignored them and walked straight toward the corpses. Just as I was about to step over them, darkness suddenly fell. When the lights came back on, one of the corpses had already risen up. The people behind me were so frightened that they retreated in fear. I remained standing still, unmoved. The staff member playing the corpse monster was quite surprised by this and imitated the roar a few more times, but I kept my eyes fixed on it. The atmosphere became somewhat awkward. At this moment, the staff member didn't know what to do. I reached out a hand to stop him and pushed him aside, muttering regretfully, "Not as scary as Huang Kai." After saying that, I continued walking forward. The 4 people behind me were all impressed. This guy was too strong. He had such a big heart. Ji Yinqing and Li Muxue remained calm. After walking for a while, the howling of ghosts echoed around us. The 4 college students' legs began to tremble, and they followed cautiously behind me. Not long after, a white figure appeared at the end of the corridor. The woman's figure was turned away from the group. The 4 students panicked immediately. "A ghost. My God, how scary." The staff member playing the ghost was extremely confident. He immediately brushed his hair aside, let out a shrill laugh, and rushed towards them. Screams erupted from behind, and the 4 were almost crying from fright. Seeing this, Ji Yinqing raised an eyebrow, thinking it was quite creative. He waved at the ghost, thinking he would scare it too. Then, with a thought, a ghostly phantom materialized beside him. The ghostly phantom waved at the charging ghost, just like Ji Yinqing. The staff member was stunned. He was surprised to find that someone wasn't afraid and was even waving. But when he looked more closely, he realized that there really was a ghostly phantom beside the girl, also beckoning to him. The staff member instantly realized there was a ghost. He was completely terrified and immediately turned and ran, disappearing without a trace in no time. I couldn't help but burst into laughter at this scene. Li Muxue was speechless at this. Then we continued forward, completely ruining the haunted house. We kept scaring ghosts every now and then. Under my influence, the 4 of us gradually became less afraid. About half an hour later, we walked out of the haunted house. The people around us were talking. "Wow, you re the first batch." The owner was also surprised and immediately stepped forward to congratulate us on successfully completing the challenge. "You can choose a plush toy as a reward." I chuckled and immediately ran over to grab a blue dolphin plush toy. "Here it is." A tall, thin young man approached. "Brother, you're brave." I hugged my little dolphin tighter. "Who are you?" the young man asked, somewhat speechless. He then introduced himself. "My name is Xiang Nan. I went into the haunted house with you earlier, following behind you the whole time. I just realized I hadn't really looked at him properly. What do you want? Is there anything fun to do?" Hearing this, Xiang Nan nodded repeatedly, his face showing anticipation. Yes. I just think you guys are very brave. We're going to explore a haunted building tonight. They say there are real ghosts there, so I wanted to invite you to come along." I rolled my eyes, thinking that an exploration sounded interesting, and nodded. "Okay, so where are the real ghosts?" Xiang Nan paused for a moment, then pointed in a direction. "It's near the amusement park, in an abandoned hospital. We plan to go there at 8 p.m. If you want to come, we can go together." Xiang Nan realized at this point that I seemed quite naive. He said there were real ghosts, and I actually believed him. I nodded and agreed. "See you at 8 p.m. Since it was still early after parting with Xiang Nan, the 3 of us went to play other thrilling and exciting rides. Of course, I wasn't scared at all. I just found it funny to see others screaming in fright. After playing around the amusement park, we found a restaurant for dinner. Li Muxue looked up at me. "Are we really going on an adventure?" I nodded vigorously. "Yes, isn't it supposed to be fun?" Li Muxua had no choice but to give up. But then he thought about it again and remembered that we didn't even have a place to stay on our first day in Lingshan City. It became a bit awkward again. Oh, right. Commander, we need to stay in a hotel tonight, but I didn't bring my ID card, so I'll have to squeeze in with you. Before he could finish speaking, I waved my hand and said, then you can sleep in the corridor. I don't want to share a room with someone else. After finishing dinner in the restaurant, I planned to continue exploring that haunted building. According to Xiang Nan's description, Li Muxua drove us there. I checked online and found that this area had been a site of mutations, resulting in many deaths and injuries. After that, no one lived there anymore. But soon, he slammed on the brakes, and the Jeep came to a sudden stop because there was no road ahead. So the three of us had to get out and walk. At this moment, Ji Yunqing had just stopped when he slowly closed his eyes, seemingly sensing something. After a moment, his expression changed. I subtly opened my eyes. It seemed there really was something here. Hearing this, my interest grew even stronger. Something's good. The more the merrier, I exclaimed, and started walking forward. The group arrived at the center of the area. Ahead was the abandoned hospital. This was the place Xiang Nan had arranged to meet during the day. I glanced around and saw Xiang Nan and his friends not far away. One of the girls had her arms crossed. Is this the legendary haunted building? There can't really be ghosts inside, can there? Another girl immediately mustered her courage and retorted, there are no ghosts. It's all made up. The others chimed in. If there really were ghosts, the Supernatural Abilities Bureau would have sealed it off long ago. We're out here to have fun, aren't we? Just then, I quietly walked over. They patted Xiang Nan on the shoulder from behind. Xiang Nan jumped in fright. Who's there? He turned around, saw it was me, and then breathed a sigh of relief, clutching his chest. You scared me to death. It was you. The other friends were also startled by Xiang Nan's reaction. Xiang Nan then introduced everyone. This is the expert I met in the haunted house during the day. Not afraid at all, so brave. The others expressed their admiration and welcomed us to join them. My eyes sparkled, and I eagerly looked around. Where's the real ghost you're talking about? Find it for me quickly. Xiang Nan scratched his head awkwardly. It's probably in the abandoned hospital. I immediately became interested. Okay, let's go in. I strode up the steps. Immediately, he cupped his hands around his mouth like a megaphone and shouted into the dark entrance. A real ghost. Where are you? Come out quickly. Seeing this, Xiang Nan and his friends were stunned. They looked at each other, wondering how someone could search for a ghost like that. But just then, a gust of cold wind suddenly swept by. At this moment, Ji Yunqing's expression hardened. He silently sensed the Yin energy, then looked at me and said, Sir, there really is something in there. I rubbed my hands together. Great, let's go and catch it. Xiang Nan and the others were a little confused, feeling they had gone too far. But I had already strode into the hall and turned to beckon to Xiang Nan and the others, who were still standing there. Quickly. You all wanted to see a real ghost, didn't you? Xiang Nan opened his mouth, but couldn't speak for a long time. But since things had come to this, he had no choice but to bite the bullet and follow me inside. I was very happy. It wasn't easy to find so many like-minded friends. Today, I had to catch a real ghost for them to see. After entering the hospital, I ran upstairs and searched every room. When I found a locked door, I just kicked it open, making a loud banging noise inside. Xiang Nan and the others followed behind, looking bewildered. They thought, this isn't the adventure they imagined. Is this some kind of house demolition operation? After my commotion, the tense atmosphere completely disappeared. The group was no longer afraid. Ji Yunqing followed behind. Although he knew there were needles, he didn't think they could hurt me, so he let me play around. They walked like this, when suddenly a woman's laughter came from somewhere. I, who was running ahead, suddenly stopped and looked around. The next second, the ethereal laughter came again from the darkness. I immediately locked onto the direction of the sound. I kicked the door open with a bang, and it slammed to the ground. I then scanned the empty ward. Just then, the system voice sounded in my mind. System scan complete. SSS-Level Special Series Mutant Monster detected. I raised an eyebrow. It seemed the real ghost was in the room. Suddenly, a gust of cold wind swept through, chilling everyone's necks. The giggling laughter grew clearer, and I could feel a chill behind me. Then, a phantom began to materialize, revealing the figure of a woman in white. At that moment, the ghost's neck slowly stretched out, gradually approaching my profile from behind. Xiang Nan and the others, seeing this, were terrified, their flashlights flashing wildly. Some even collapsed to the ground. A ghost. My God, this is real. But I, with my eyes slightly narrowed, showed no panic. Instead, I slowly turned my head, meeting that pale, ghostly face. The next second, I swung my arm and slapped her hard across the face. You're laughing here. The female ghost instinctively covered her face with her hands, completely stunned, and then began to sob softly. I reached out and grabbed her without hesitation. The female ghost retreated repeatedly. Don't come any closer. But in the end, I still grabbed her by the back of the neck and lifted her up. I then held the ghost up to Xiang Nan. Look, this is a real ghost. How about it? Isn't it fun? Xiang Nan looked at the female ghost in front of him and immediately burst into tears. Big brother, I was wrong. Please take it away. The people behind him also ran away crying in fear. I then brought the ghost up to Mutation. He immediately waved his hands in disgust and said, take it away, take it away. I just held the female ghost up like that and showed it off. Tell me, what kind of ghost are you? The female ghost wailed. I'm a good ghost. I've never harmed anyone. Please spare my life. My face turned cold, and I tightened my grip. She continued her tale. Be careful, or I'll kill you. The female ghost pleaded, don't kill me. Don't kill me. I have a secret to tell you. Hearing the word secret, I immediately became interested, and my grip loosened. Speak, she said quickly. If you're bored, I'll kill you. The female ghost hurriedly began. I died in the deep mountains of the border region. There was an adventure club there that lured people into the mountains under the guise of guides, then murdered them for their money. After listening, I shook my head in disappointment. That's not much of a secret. The female ghost quickly added, and I went to the deep mountains of the border region to find a hidden place that is said to be related to the origin of the global anomaly. But I was killed by the guide not long after I left. The deep mountains of the border region are one of the earliest places where mutated monsters appeared at the beginning of the global anomaly. My father was an explorer. He was seriously injured after entering the mountains and returned. With her last breath, she drew me a map, telling me I must go there if I had the chance, and then she breathed her last. Without hesitation, I pressed her for the map's whereabouts. The female ghost sobbed, explaining, I was trying to hire someone to search for it in the mountains, but I was killed before I even took a few steps. They don't know about the map. I secretly buried it under a tree before I died. I'm so miserable. She was about to wail again when I waved her hand impatiently to stop her. Mutation, standing beside me, looked on with pity. I feel so sorry for her, I said. Do people really do this kind of thing in the border mountains? Ying sneered, a hint of mockery in his eyes. Do you think the border mountains are some kind of nice place? It's a boring place. The law of the jungle, murder and robbery are commonplace there. Even some awakened beings who don't want to follow the rules hide there. He paused, his gaze drifting into the distance, seemingly lost in memories. I used to have that too. I nodded seriously at the idea of hiding in the mountains. Okay, then I'll take you to hide in the deep mountains tomorrow. Ying chuckled upon hearing this, her lips curving into a beautiful arc. Great. Mutation was somewhat stunned by this scene. It seemed to be the first time he had seen Ying. Our trip was originally planned for the deep mountains on the border, I said, and then handed the female ghost to Ying for safekeeping. Afterward, we left the abandoned hospital and returned to the bustling city center, finding a hotel to stay in. I didn't share a room with Mutation. The next morning, Mutation drove us to the deep mountains on the border. I leaned back in the car seat, watching the scenery flash by outside the window. As we approached the foot of the mountain, people from various adventure clubs swarmed around, stuffing flyers into the car window. Walk around and take a look. Senior guide, professional boosting service. Let me take you to explore the deep mountains on the border. Handsome guy, what do you think of me? B-level Awakener. Not expensive, 100,000 per order. Contact me. Contact me. I know where to hunt mutated monsters. I guarantee you'll make a fortune. A group of guides were vying for customers on the street. The three of us got out of the car and immediately attracted a lot of attention. The guides just glanced at me, and for a moment no one came up to talk to us. Only the burly man in the distance nudged the lean young man next to him, then turned around and carefully looked us over. The burly man leaned close to the young man's ear and whispered, Brother, look at that girl with the veil. Doesn't she look familiar? The young man's eyes lit up. She looks like the big star, Mutation. The burly man chuckled wickedly and walked over with the young man. He first gave Ying and me a cursory look, and finally his gaze greedily landed on Mutation. Hello, professional guides. Would you like to consider it? It's easy to get lost if you go into the mountains on your own. Just then, I suddenly heard. Suddenly, a female ghost's resentful voice rang out. They're the two who led me into the mountains and killed me. Hearing this, I calmly glanced at the two men. The system scan was complete. They were, respectively, A-level Beast Soul Awakeners with the Leopard Cat ability Fast Reflexes and A-level Beast Soul Awakeners with the Wild Buffalo ability Brute Force. I nodded slightly. All right, let's go into the mountains together then. More people, more fun. The lean man was overjoyed and quickly introduced himself. My name is Li Meng. This is my brother Li Hu. We are both B-level Beast Soul Awakeners, experienced in the mountains. We can guarantee your safety. Just then, a woman squeezed through the crowd and grabbed my arm. Young man, I'm also a guide for this area. Li Ming and Li, who have the worst reputation, they've led people in several times, and they never came out. Actually, they've secretly killed them all. You think? Sister Xian, the Li brothers aren't good people. I rolled my eyes, seemingly thinking seriously. The Li brothers immediately glared at the woman with a sinister look, but I suddenly waved my hand. Then I have to find them even more. The woman opened her mouth, but ultimately only left a sigh and walked away helplessly. The Li brothers were equally incredulous. The burly Li, who quickly came over. Don't listen to his nonsense. He just wants to steal our business. We brothers are good people. Then, the five of us officially headed towards the border mountains. As the surroundings gradually became desolate, the lean Li Ming stopped and turned to pose as a guide, explaining that after passing the monitoring station, we would have completely entered the land of disorder. Don't believe anyone here, but don't worry. We're going to take the most conventional route this time. Relatively speaking, it's safer. I waved my hand to stop his long-winded explanation. Safety is so boring, a little danger is what makes it interesting. The Li brothers were taken aback, then turned around and suspiciously looked at my feet, quickening their pace. The group continued into the deep mountains. Along the way, they saw many scattered bones. I looked up and saw a long decomposed human corpse hanging from a large tree ahead. At that moment, a suppressed sob came from Ji Yunqing's body. That's my corpse. I scoffed. It's almost rotten. It's affecting my appetite. Li Ming and Li Hu immediately stopped. They turned around, their warm expressions instantly turning sinister. Do you know how the person hanging in the tree died? I said calmly, revealing the truth. You killed him. The Li brothers. Somewhat bewildered, Li Ming forced a show of force. Yes, it was us who killed me. He nodded, exchanging a glance with Ji Yunqing beside him. Both remained expressionless, clearly not meeting Li Ming and Li Hu's expectations. They quickly turned their attention to the seemingly most vulnerable Ji Yunqing. One of them asked menacingly, "Aren't you afraid of us?" Ji Yunqing scratched her head, seemingly contemplating how to cooperate, before slowly squeezing out, "I'm so scared." Li Ming's face instantly turned fierce. He decided to throw caution to the wind and hand over all their valuables. If I'm in a good mood, I might let you go, he thought. At this moment, the two men revealed their true colors, approaching step by step. One of them sneered, unexpectedly. Well, actually we're all A-level awakened ones. We were hiding our strength from you earlier. Now you're scared, aren't you? I drew my Peppa Pig toy gun with one hand, pointed it at them, and asked, did you really need to hide your strength? System enhancement activated. The toy gun is now an explosive weapon. I immediately pulled the trigger. A powerful force instantly blasted the two Li brothers away. The two men scrambled out of the grass, spitting out the grass in their mouths. What is this? At this moment, Ji Yunqing had a thought, and countless vengeful spirits roared and rushed out from behind him, including the female vengeful spirit from last night. They instantly surrounded the Li brothers. Ji Yunqing tilted his head and asked, aren't you scared? Upon hearing this, the Li brothers' legs went weak, and they immediately collapsed to the ground, trembling. They realized that these people were nothing. Unable to retaliate, the two immediately burst into tears and begged for mercy. We're sorry, we know we were wrong. Please forgive us. Suddenly, the ghostly figure from the previous night emerged from the vengeful spirits, a sinister voice seemingly emanating from hell. Are you apologizing to me? The ghostly figure transformed into a black shadow and charged towards the two brothers. You two beasts, give me back my life. I'll make you pay with your lives. The two brothers, seeing this, immediately cowered in terror, letting out pig-like screams. Ghost, we know we were wrong. We'll never dare to do it again. Please, Grandma, forgive us. The ghostly figure ignored them and, with Ji Yunqing's help, pounced on them, tearing at their souls. The brothers clutched their heads, rolling on the ground, letting out hysterical screams. After a moment, the screams abruptly stopped, and the two brothers fell to strange. He lay there in a contorted position, completely lifeless. The female ghost's figure reappeared. His voice carried a hint of urgency. Thank you for helping me avenge myself. I waved my hand casually. You're welcome. Don't you have a treasure map? Hurry up and show it to me. The female ghost glanced around at the surroundings and then pointed to a large tree not far away. I secretly buried myself under the roots of that tree before I died. I agreed and ran over in a few steps. I squatted down under the roots and started digging with my bare hands. After digging a few times, I found a rough piece of craft paper. I unfolded it and saw a crooked map drawn on it. Li Mushue and Ji Yunqing also curiously came over. Li Mushue frowned. What's drawn on this? I pointed to a mark on the map. Idiot. It's obviously a map. Li Mushue was speechless. I know it's a map, but where is it? Ji Yunqing pointed to a certain area on the map. Look, could this location be the forest we're in? I nodded in agreement. This officer thinks it's very likely. At this moment, the female ghost floated over. May I make a suggestion? I looked up from the ground and urged him. What suggestion do you have? Tell me quickly. The female ghost pointed somewhat shyly to the map in our hands. I think you should turn the map over. I gladly accepted his suggestion and immediately turned the map over. The three of us quickly determined our location and discovered that our destination was deep in this mountain range. So I decided to continue searching along the route. I gestured towards the depths of the mountains to see what was there. Ying nodded. With a thought, several vengeful spirits shot out from his body, scattering in all directions like black smoke to scout ahead. Each vengeful spirit became his eyes, allowing him to clearly perceive everything within a kilometer radius. With Ying with us, the journey was indeed unimpeded. Before any mutated monsters could even get close, they were silently killed by his vengeful spirits. A moment later, Ying's voice came from ahead. 2 C-level monsters and 1 B-level monster ahead have already been killed by me. I nodded and tore open a bag of potato chips. While eating, we continued forward. Just then, Ying stopped. There were 5 people and 6 mutated monsters fighting ahead. I raised an eyebrow upon hearing this and went over to take a look. Soon, I could faintly hear the roars of wild beasts and the screams of humans. We walked forward and saw 2 men and a woman fiercely fighting a pack of huge mutated wolves. They were wearing the uniforms of the local Special Abilities Bureau, and behind them, they were trying their best to protect an old man and a young man. The battle between the 3 people from the Special Abilities Bureau and the mutated wolves was very intense. The wolf pack's alpha was an extremely mutated monster, and the other wolves were all B-level in strength. Of the 3 people from the Special Abilities Bureau, only 2 were A-level, and the other one was Captain Kai. Why don't you take Expert Lee and go first? I'll hold off the wolves. The only girl in the pack, their captain, immediately shook her head and refused. No, it's too dangerous. Let me handle this. You take Expert Lee and the others. Before she finished speaking, she lunged to the left, narrowly dodging the mutated Wolf King's attack, but her cheek was still slashed open by the sharp wolf claws. The other 2 team members rushed to help, but he shouted at them again. Take Expert Lee and go? Don't worry about me. I stood at a distance, arms crossed, finding the scene quite interesting. Ying leaned closer to me and said, Sir, I suggest we help them. I nodded and left. In an instant, several vengeful spirits silently shot out from behind Ying, charging towards the pack of mutated wolves like arrows released from a bow. The wolves seemed to sense this terrifying power. Their bodies trembled, and they were immediately entangled by the vengeful spirits, their soul power instantly devoured. One after another, they collapsed to the ground. The 3 members of the Supernatural Abilities Bureau were stunned, standing frozen in place, unable to react for a moment. Only when the vengeful spirits flew back and disappeared into Ying's body did they look in the direction the spirits had vanished and see me standing not far away. They still dared not move, because the power they had just witnessed was too terrifying, filled with unknown danger. Just as they nervously watched us, Li Mushua smiled and stepped forward. Don't worry, we are also law-abiding citizens of the Dragon Kingdom. We mean no harm. Hearing this, the group relaxed slightly. Captain Kai walked over with a grateful expression, covering the wound on his face. Thank you for helping us earlier. I looked at their uniforms. Are you from the Superpower Bureau? The girl nodded. Yes, my name is Kai Chihuahua. I'm the captain of the 2nd team of the Superpower Bureau, an A-level awakened beast soul lucky sparrow. Upon hearing this, I smiled. Okay, then I'll call you Rookie from now on. Kai Chihuahua was immediately taken aback, but after seeing our unfathomable strength, she didn't object. At this moment, Expert Lee in the back also recovered. Young comrades, you are very capable. So I've decided to recruit you into my team and lead you deep into the mountains. I glanced at him, thinking, has this old man gone mad from research? I crumpled the empty bag of potato chips into a ball. From now on, you are under my command. Kai Chihuahua and the others were stunned. Expert Lee looked even more puzzled. His student next to him stepped forward defiantly. My teacher is a famous exploration expert who has been awarded an official title. May I ask which unit you belong to? I crossed my arms and slowly announced my name. I am the director of the Jiangdong City Supernatural Abilities Bureau, the principal of Donghua Academy, and the commander-in-chief of the border camp, Xiang Nan. Upon hearing this, the crowd became even more agitated, their faces clearly showing disbelief. After all, they all knew Li Zhixing, the principal of Dragon Kingdom Academy. The young man curled his lip. I think you're talking nonsense. Have you ever won any honorary medals? Show them to us. Expert Li echoed, adopting the posture of an elder. I've been researching here for decades and have won many medals. No one knows more about the borderlands and deep mountains than young man. You don't listen to the elders, and you'll suffer the consequences. I was very disdainful of this, and then reached into my pocket, rummaged around for a while. and pulled out a golden circular medal. The medal was clearly engraved with the words, Guardian of Order. The group of people were stunned when they saw the medal. This is the Order Keeper's medal. Kai Qiuhua's eyes widened. He then straightened up and saluted me with 2 team members. Sir, this is the 2nd squad of the Supernatural Abilities Bureau. We will obey your command. I nodded in satisfaction and then called out to Kai Qiuhua. Rookie, take your team and let's go. At that moment, Expert Li and his student were stunned when they saw the genuine medal. They quickly chased after him, calling out, Take me with you. After recruiting a few more people, the team grew considerably. Soon, one of Kai Qiuhua's team members recognized Li Muxue. One of them pointed at him. Are you that big star, Li Muxue? No wonder she's the national goddess. Can we take a picture and get an autograph? Li Muxue nodded generously. The scene became lively. Meanwhile, Ji Yunqing remained silent, walking at the very front of the group, clearing away all obstacles for us. I beckoned to the lagging expert, Li, and pointed, Old man, come here and tell me what you're looking for in the mountains. Expert Li hesitated slightly, but still lowered his voice and leaned closer. Sir, to be honest, I said, our exploration and research indicate that there might be miracles in the deep mountains of the border region. Hearing this, I nodded. Soon, the mutated monsters became increasingly dense, and even powerful S-class beings appeared, but they were all calmly swept away by Ji Yunqing, who was walking ahead. Suddenly, Ji Yunqing stopped and looked ahead with a puzzled expression. There seemed to be a village ahead, without any signs of life, but with the aura of the dead. Expert Li's face immediately became excited. We must have reached the village of the dead. The spirits in the village of the dead only repeat their activities from their previous lives and do not actively attack people. After hearing his explanation, I led the way towards the village of the dead. Before long, everyone saw an open space ahead. Several thatched huts stood there, and several skeletons were repeatedly performing actions from their lives. Some were hoeing the ground, others were chopping wood. Seeing this, I stepped forward and pushed the skeleton hoeing. It collapsed to the ground, scattering into a pile of bones. Expert Li and the others were terrified and quickly retreated. But the skeleton simply slowly got up, reassembled itself, picked up a stick, and continued hammering. I moved closer, trying to wake it. You're dead, I said, but the skeleton remained unmoved. Just then, Ji Yunqing walked over and said, Let me try. He placed his pale hand on the skeleton's shoulder and then pulled sharply, forcibly pulling out a semi-transparent phantom of a soul. The phantom trembled and made a sound. Who are you? Why are you disturbing my life? Ji Yunqing calmly looked at it. Since you're already dead, why haven't they dispersed yet? The spirit was very puzzled. I'm not dead. My wife and children are waiting for me to come home for dinner. Ji Yunqing randomly pointed to the skeletons behind him, who were also working. Look, do they look like your wife and children? The spirit's head stiffly turned around. When he saw the skeletons, a struggle flashed in his illusory eyes. This can't be. It's all an illusion. We're all still alive. I turned to the crowd and shrugged. See? I told you we couldn't wake them up. Expert Li, however, seemed to have discovered a new continent and asked the spirit, Can you tell me what's deep in these mountains? The spirit suddenly raised an illusory finger and pointed towards the sky. There's an irresistible force. They're descending from the sky. Hearing this, I immediately understood. I knew what it was. Everyone's eyes instantly turned to, focused on me. I cleared my throat and solemnly announced, It's the Tathagata palm. Everyone was speechless, except for Expert Li, whose face lit up with fervor. It must be a god descending from the sky. I told you long ago there are miracles in the deep mountains of the border. Ji Yunqing looked ahead with unwavering eyes. Let's continue. We'll see what it is when we get inside. I nodded in agreement. And so we left the village of the dead and continued forward. Ji Yunqing was still leading the way, and the screams of the mutated monsters around us grew more and more intense. Expert Li and his group followed behind, so tense they didn't dare to breathe. I, on the other hand, continued to eat snacks and leisurely looked around. When we reached the depths of the mountains, Ji Yunqing, who was at the front, suddenly stopped. All the vengeful spirits that had been probing the way instantly withdrew. Everyone's expressions tightened at the sight. Expert Li looked worriedly at the young comrade ahead. What's wrong with the surface? Ji Yunqing pondered for a moment. It's nothing, just that an S-class or higher life form has appeared. I don't want to alert them. Expert Li was startled upon hearing this. S-class or higher life forms are very powerful mutated monsters. Ji Yunqing shook her head. Yes, and there's more than one. There's even an awakened one among them. My single vengeful spirit can't kill it instantly from a distance. Instead, it will be sensed and reveal its location. So we have no choice but to go and kill it. Expert Li was speechless for a moment. I didn't expect so many S-class or higher life forms to appear. This is very abnormal. Could it be an exiled organization? Are you sure we can kill them? My eyes lit up. This is finally going to get interesting. This is the real deal. The deep mountains seemed normal until the view suddenly opened up. The vegetation vanished, replaced by jagged boulders. Everyone was puzzled, but Expert Li's eyes widened in astonishment. A meteorite. Just then, a strange sacrificial chant came from ahead. The group looked surprised. Then, a burst of light appeared ahead, and the chant became even more devout. Everyone looked towards the light. I craned my neck to look ahead. A large chorus. And stage lights. Expert Li immediately retorted. No chorus. It's clearly a ritual. A ritual? What does that mean? There must be a god. The group fell silent as we walked towards. Following the chanting and the light, they quickly arrived at their destination. The group lay prone on a boulder and looked down, discovering a massive pyramid-shaped structure covered in strange runes. Dozens of black-robed figures knelt before it, chanting a hymn. Their soul power was rapidly surging. Li Muxue, curious, lowered her voice. What are they doing? Kai Qiuhua suddenly recognized the leader. I know that black-robed man, Ji Yinqing added. That's Su Hongkai. He's an S-level wanted criminal from Lingshan. I didn't expect him to hide in the deep mountains of the border. Hearing this, Kai Qiuhua was somewhat. I can't believe it. Just a few months ago he was still S-rank, and he has already broken through so quickly. A team member sidled up to him. Captain Kai, look at those people behind him. They all seem to be fugitives, but they're all much stronger than before. Right now, they've widened the gap between them and their opponents. Kai Qiuhua frowned. What's going on? How could their strength have increased so quickly? Li Muxue's gaze fell on the pyramid. It must be because of that building. Kai Qiuhua was immediately astonished. A powerful force descending from the sky, and it can even grant power to others. Could this be an extraterrestrial civilization? Expert Li excitedly pushed up his glasses. Perhaps the origin of the mutation is indeed from beyond the heavens. Did you see the symbols on the building? That's runic technology, at least 200 years ahead of our soul crystal technology. Isn't that a miracle? In his view, those people were merely gaining power out of ignorance. At this moment, the ritual was completed, the chanting stopped, and the building's light dimmed. The black-robed leader stood up and looked around with satisfaction. Very good. We are the inheritors of the gods, so we must follow the gods' will to break the existing order of this world and establish new rules. Upon hearing this, the people below shouted enthusiastically, yes, break the order and establish rules. We are the descendants of the gods, obeying the gods' will. Long live the Heavenly God Organization. Now we finally understand. The black-robed leader was very satisfied with the crowd's reaction. First, we must break the order of the Dragon Kingdom, then eliminate the Exiled organization, and from then on, we will grow bigger and stronger, creating glory. Just then, a clear voice suddenly rang out. Excuse me, what was the name of the song you were singing just now? Su Hongtai, the man in black robes, was taken aback. The crowd below all turned to look, only to see a young man staring at them with curiosity. Su Hongkai warily stared at the newcomer. Who are you? Why are you at the headquarters of our celestial organization? He looked around. Excuse me, I'm sorry to disturb you. You've been unifying the world, haven't you? Su Hongkai was about to nod when he saw Kai Qiuhua beside him. His brows furrowed deeply, and he immediately recognized her. You are the Order Keepers of the Dragon Kingdom. Kai Qiuhua stepped forward. Su Hongkai, do you think we can't do anything to you just because you're hiding here? Establishing an organization and breaking order? That's wishful thinking. Su Hongkai laughed disdainfully. Captain Kai, how have you been? You've changed a lot in just a few days. Now that we have received the inheritance of the gods, any one of our members can wipe you out. What makes you think you can fight me? AI Qiuhua slowly retreated while verbally attacking. A bunch of shrimp soldiers and crab generals, only daring to hide in the deep mountains, they can't stand the light of day. Su Hongkai frowned upon hearing this. Since that's the case, let me show you the power of our Heavenly God Organization. Protector Zhao, go and deal with them. A middle-aged man in black robes slowly stepped forward. Good leader. He walked to the front. You agents dare to trespass into our organization's headquarters. Come and die. Protector Zhao was about to rush forward when a burst of fire shot out, instantly engulfing him. Soon, the energy fluctuations dissipated, revealing a large crater in the ground. Protector Zhao lay motionless inside. Su Hongkai and the others were stunned, then turned their heads solemnly and saw a young man holding a toy gun, staring at them. Su Hongkai was shocked. I pulled the trigger again. Another burst of fire shot out. Su Hongkai immediately raised his arms to block, but was knocked back more than 10 meters. His arms were charred black. He was terrified and then swung his. Brothers, get him. Who can take him down? This is our new protector. Upon hearing this, the men immediately rushed towards me. At this moment, Ji Yunqing's eyes narrowed slightly, and countless vengeful spirits sprang out from behind him. The vengeful spirits immediately entangled the black-robed men, who immediately collapsed to the ground with pained screams. Su Hongkai gasped, his face showing disbelief. Just then, the vengeful spirits merged together, forming a huge black shadow that rushed straight at him. Su Hongkai had nowhere to dodge and was swallowed up in the next moment, his body crashing to the ground. Expert Li and Kai Qiuhua were all dumbfounded. Li Mu and I chose to jump off the rock and walk towards the pyramid-shaped building. Expert Li followed with a fanatical expression. The group arrived in front of the pyramid and examined the runes on it. Li Muxua looked at it for a while and said, "This is alien technology." Expert Li then knelt down on one knee, took out a laptop and a stack of documents from his backpack. "This is extraterrestrial technology. There's no mistake. Look at the power that can store, release, and transform soul crystals." I looked at him with a blank expression. Expert Li gestured again, trying to make me understand. "This is the result of half a lifetime of research. Soul crystals are power sources, and runes are circuit boards that can transform energy forms." Li Muxue and the others seemed to understand. Expert Li adjusted his glasses and gave his assessment. "I believe there must be something stored inside the pyramid. We need to decipher the runes to open it." A sense of curiosity arose in everyone's hearts. I had no patience and looked directly at Expert Li. "Old man, how long will it take to open it?" Expert Li pushed up his glasses, his expression extremely serious. "This kind of rune technology requires slow research. I estimate it will take at least 3 years." I immediately lost all patience and started walking towards the pyramid. Expert Li turned around and saw my movement, quickly stopping me. "What are you doing? You absolutely can't." But before he could finish speaking, I froze, my hand touching the pyramid. The runes on it instantly lit up, and the stones began to rotate. Soon, a white beam of light shot up from the base of the pyramid. Expert Li and the others were completely dumbfounded. They hadn't expected me to open it so quickly. At that moment, everyone stared nervously at the pyramid. A powerful pressure emanated from it. In the white light at the top, the figure of a silver-haired man slowly materialized. His gaze swept over us. I hadn't expected that in this primitive civilization, there would be a being who could decipher my runes. I narrowed my eyes and stared at him. "Who are you?" the man asked, his expression stern, enunciating each word clearly. "I am the god you speak of." Upon hearing this, Li and the others trembled with excitement. The illusory man, expressionless, continued to throw out bait. "Yes, believe in me, and I will grant you immense power, making you the masters of this world." I crossed my arms and gave the illusory man a wicked look. "You have nothing, yet you call yourself a god? I think you're crazy." The illusory man's expression darkened. "Inferior creature, how dare you offend a god? Don't you want power?" I shook my head, taking a step towards him while answering decisively, "No." The man frowned, staring at me warily. "What are you doing here?" I didn't answer, but walked straight to the pyramid, grabbed a runic stone, spun it forcefully, and ripped it out, throwing it aside. Of course, I continued dismantling the illusory man. He panicked slightly, his voice changing. "What are you doing? Don't destroy my house." I ignored him, my men continuing their work. Seeing that I was completely ignoring him, his tone softened completely. "Listen to me. The Exiled organization is about to rule the entire planet. Without me, you can't win. Can't we cooperate?" I remained unmoved, continuing to dismantle. Expert Li watched this unbelievable scene in disbelief. At this moment, the man's illusory figure was already faintly visible, and the white beam of light dimmed. Seeing that persuasion was useless, the man's expression changed, finally becoming completely enraged. "Stupid, lowly student. You'll pay for this. I swear, when I arrive on this planet, I'll make you pay for this in blood." Before he could finish his threat, the pyramid completely darkened as I removed the last core rune, and the white pillar of light at the top, and the man's phantom vanished. We continued dismantling the remaining parts. Soon, I discovered a crystal floating in the middle of the structure. I grabbed it and tried to absorb its energy, but failed. I put it to my mouth and bit it, finding it incredibly hard. I scoffed, thinking the stone was useless. Just as I was about to casually throw it away, Expert Li stared longingly at the golden stone. "Commander, could you give me that stone? I want to figure this thing out. All the results will be yours. You're our." How about the founder of rune technology in the Dragon Kingdom? Upon hearing the word founder, my eyes darted around, and I casually tossed him the crystal. "All right, then you can study it." Expert Li quickly accepted the crystal and thanked me profusely. Then we began clearing the battlefield. I handed the dismantled rune stones to Kai Qiuhua and others for transport. Afterward, everyone returned the way they came, sending all the discoveries of this trip to the Lingshan City Ability Bureau. This matter quickly caused a stir in the entire scientific community of the Dragon Kingdom, with countless research teams flocking to Lingshan City. Huang Kai, who was originally recuperating at home, also heard the news and rushed to the Ability Bureau. Since I discovered rune technology, the research teams all stood in place after arriving, waiting for me to speak. When I arrived at the door of the conference hall, a group of researchers in white coats waited quietly. Huang craned his neck, scanning the crowd, his palms sweating involuntarily, as if searching for something. Finally, he spotted a familiar figure in the crowd. Huang opened his mouth, and Xiao Nan turned around. When she saw the person, a bright smile instantly appeared on her face. Huang was stunned. His heart skipped a beat. Then, Xiao Nan strode towards him, but walked straight past him. She excitedly grabbed his hand and said, "Sir, we meet again. You finally came. I never expected you to discover rune technology. You amazing." I smiled slightly and waved my hand casually. "It's just a few broken stones, nothing special." Xiaoman's eyes sparkled. "You're too awesome. Oh, right? I should thank you for saving my life on the border battlefield last time." Huang was completely petrified, staring at the handsome man and beautiful woman chatting happily before him. Then, everyone entered the conference room and took their seats. Expert Li and I were invited to the stage for the scientific research conference to officially begin. Soon, a young man stood up and asked, "Hello, may I ask how you discovered and explored rune technology?" I confidently leaned forward. "It's very simple. It mainly involves disassembling and breaking down the runes one by one." A commotion erupted below. Expert Li, standing next to me, instantly developed several black lines on his forehead. He quickly picked up the microphone and coughed loudly to attract attention. What our expert meant by disassembling and breaking down the runes one by one meant that the people below suddenly understood. Another person, "Stand up. What exactly is this rune technology? How could it possibly advance our research on soul crystal technology?" I shrugged listlessly. "It's not very advanced, and it's practically useless. You can't eat it or play with it." Everyone froze again, and the hall fell into an eerie silence once more. Expert Li immediately grabbed the microphone. "Rune technology is indeed neither edible nor playable, and it's truly useless until it's thoroughly understood. So, we still need everyone to work together to overcome this challenge." The expert meant that we had a long way to go. People finally understood and nodded, discussing how they would work hard to research it. Seeing this, Expert Li breathed a sigh of relief and took over the reins. "All right, let me introduce it to you now." He then brought out several representative stones. The crowd immediately gathered around to observe and study. Several days later, the news spread. To encourage the celebrity, the official announcement stated that he was the founder of rune technology. The news quickly went viral online, with people speculating about the identity of the scientist named Xiang Nan. This news also reached Jiangdong City. Xiang Changfeng, holding a newspaper, saw the headline and looked bewildered, muttering to himself, "What's going on? Didn't that kid go to the border? With his intelligence, how could he become a scientist?" The news spread like wildfire, and after several days of research, the research team actually made some progress. They discovered that imprinting a certain rune on a red-type rune could achieve a strengthening effect. Li Zhixing was in his office. Seeing this internal briefing, he paced back and forth anxiously, already worried about his job. Of course, this matter also reached the headquarters of the Exiled organization. At this moment, a blonde, blue-eyed foreigner stared solemnly at the leader. He was one of the leaders of the Exiled organization. It seemed that China had also found extraterrestrial civilizations. Beside him, a man bowed and suggested, "Leader, I think we can't ignore this matter. Letting it develop will be detrimental to us." The middle-aged man nodded, tapping his fingers lightly on the table. "I heard the initiator is called Xiang Nan. Is he a very capable scientist?" His subordinate hesitated for a moment, a strange expression appearing on his face. "According to the information we have, Xiang Nan was originally a rich second-generation heir and suffers from intellectual disability. Our people once offered a bounty on him, but failed. He had worked at the Jiangdong City Supernatural Abilities Bureau for a period of time and had even been to the border battlefield. It was during the time Huan Tong and his companions died that, when the man mentioned this, his aura suddenly changed, a heavy pressure emanating from him, causing his subordinates beside him to tremble. The death of the child was a huge loss to the Exiled organization, directly causing them to be pushed back hundreds of miles on the border battlefield. All their previous efforts had been in vain. The Exiled leaders sighed. It seemed that they couldn't break into the Dragon Kingdom from the outside. They could only slowly disintegrate it from within. Now, the Dragon Kingdom was not only making rapid progress in the war, but had also discovered rune technology, achieving victory. The scales were beginning to tip slowly. His subordinate lowered his voice and suggested, "Sir, all the scientists from the Dragon Kingdom, including Xiang Nan, are gathered in Lingshan City. If we capture them all, the Dragon Kingdom will suffer a major loss, because the researchers gathered in Lingshan City are the elite of the elite." Ji Yinqing, the leader, tapped his knuckles on the table. It seemed the Dragon Kingdom's purpose was to release my information as bait to lure our people out, and then let Ji Yunqing hunt them down. Currently, none of our infiltrators in the Dragon Kingdom are a match for Ji Yunqing, but I know someone who can restrain him. Go and arrange for. Let's hunt them down. This is just the beginning. Our ultimate plan will definitely succeed. On the other hand, I've been staying at the Supernatural Abilities Bureau for several days, and Huang Kai is also refusing to leave, insisting on accompanying people in their research. However, he knows nothing when asked questions and gets a lot of eye rolls. At this moment, Expert Lee clapped his hands, attracting everyone's attention. Let's tell Expert Lee that everyone has made significant breakthroughs recently, so we're planning a dinner party tonight. Anyone who wants to join can sign up first. Zhang Xiaoman immediately waved excitedly. I'll go. I'll go. Others echoed. Inviting Expert Lee to dinner? Of course I have to go. Yes. I have many questions I want to discuss with him. Expert Lee rarely shows his face, so this is a rare opportunity, and I have to participate. As evening approached, the researchers changed into casual clothes and arrived at the hotel's luxurious private room. The atmosphere was very lively. Expert Lee raised his glass first. Come on, let's toast Expert Lee to our major breakthrough in our research project. Everyone raised their glasses in response, downing their champagne in one gulp. One researcher looked at me curiously. Expert Lee, since you are the founder of Rune Technology, do you know how to use Rune Technology? I put on a matter-of-fact expression. It's such a simple thing. Anyone can do it with their hands. The researcher said, momentarily speechless. Zhang Xiaoman, seizing the opportunity, added a large shrimp to my plate. We're here to relax. Let's not talk about business, okay? A shrimp is very nutritious and will help you recover. Huang Kai, standing nearby, looked on expectantly, asking, Xiaoman, what flavor is that shrimp you added? Zhang Xiaoman casually replied, try it yourself. Huang Kai reluctantly added one himself, but as soon as he turned his head, he saw Zhang Xiaoman smiling and leaning close to him, saying, Sir, let me peel the shrimp for you. Li Muxue, seeing this, wasn't about to be outdone. I picked up a crab and handed it to you. I peeled it for you. The atmosphere at the table was cheerful, and I ate heartily. Li Muxue even thoughtfully wiped my mouth with a tissue from time to time. Huang Kai, with one hand on his arm, stared blankly at the three of them enjoying themselves. The dishes on the table suddenly seemed tasteless. Just then, I suddenly felt a chill and looked up at Ji Yunqing. There's no need to turn on the air conditioning in the hotel, right? Ji Yunqing gently shook his head. No, it wasn't me. I was a little confused. Then who turned on the air conditioning? Ji Yunqing gestured with his chin towards the outside. With his constitution, he had already sensed the source of the Yin energy. Li Muxue, Shui, sensing something amiss in their conversation, lowered her voice and leaned close to my ear. What are you saying? Is there something unclean outside? Ji Yunqing, completely unconcerned, continued intently peeling the crab in his hands. Maybe. Li Muxue's expression changed upon hearing this. He looked around warily and found the other researchers still chatting and laughing, completely unaware of anything unusual. He turned to me anxiously. What do we do? Should we go out and check? I feigned indifference, picking up the shrimp Zhang Xiaoman had just peeled. What's so interesting? Let me eat a shrimp first. Li Muxue was exasperated, feeling the growing eerie atmosphere as if something was approaching the private room. Suddenly, a rhythmic knocking sounded, and the room fell silent. Li Muxue stared intently at the door, a strange tension rising in her heart. Then, with a click, the door opened, and a waitress appeared carrying a tray with a large bowl of steaming soup. She wore a professional smile and apologized, saying, Excuse me, everyone. Our manager said we'd like to offer you a complimentary dish as a small token of our appreciation. Please accept it. The others understood and politely thanked her, but Li Muxue's beautiful eyes narrowed slightly. As the waiter approached, Li Muxue's brows furrowed deeper. He noticed that the waiter walked cautiously, his heels barely touching the ground. Li Muxue abruptly stood up, stepping in front of the waiter. Stop! Don't come any closer. The others looked surprised, sensing something was off about his reaction. Li Muxue frowned, staring intently at the waiter. This guy isn't human. He's possessed. Everyone's expressions changed drastically, their faces filled with disbelief. The waiter also looked bewildered. What are you saying, beautiful lady? How could I be possessed? Li Muxue, too lazy to argue, kicked the tray away, spilling soup everywhere. Black smoke billowed from the spill, emanating a dense, eerie aura. If this gets ingested, an ordinary person will surely die. Seeing this bizarre scene, everyone's faces changed drastically. The waiter's smile froze as she looked at the broken candy. Her eyes became blank, and her expression twisted into a grimace. A large amount of black energy surged from her body, and an old man's voice rang out from his throat. Since that's the case, I'll have to send you all to your deaths myself. Just then, I finished the last shrimp. He casually wiped his hand on the tablecloth before slowly turning his gaze to the waitress. The girl was stiffly leaning against something. He was certain she'd turned on the air conditioner. He rushed over and kicked her, sending her staggering. You dare turn on the air conditioner like that? Everyone was stunned. The waitress's face contorted with rage. Die, she yelled. Suddenly, she raised her hand, and a wisp of energy coiled towards him like a venomous snake. Ji Yinqing put down the crab she was holding with just a glance. The energy vanished without a trace. Then Huang Kai roared, leaping forward and grabbing the waitress's waist tightly. I've got her. I'm here. Don't be afraid. The waitress struggled violently in his arms. Let go, she cried. But Huang Kai held on tightly, a smug smile on his face. Haha, the more you struggle, the stronger I become. Hearing this, everyone exchanged bewildered glances, all seriously suspecting he had deliberately approached. The waitress, unable to break free from Huang Kai's embrace, was slightly relieved by the situation. Li Muxue then stepped forward and said, What kind of ghost are you? Why are you harming me? A hoarse old man's voice came from the girl's body. I won't say. If you have the guts, kill me. If you kill me, this girl will die with you. People noticed that this ghost was quite arrogant and involuntarily turned their pleading gazes to Ji Yinqing. But Ji Yinqing simply shook his head. I can indeed capture this ghost, but the original owner's soul will also perish with it. Hearing this, the ghost inside the girl let out a wild laugh. So what if you capture me? You still have no power. You have the ability. Kill me and the girl together, huh? Can't bring yourself to do it? That's the tragedy of you law-keepers. People frowned, angered by his arrogant attitude. Li Muxue turned to me, a hint of expectation in her eyes. Sir, she said, can you get this ghost out? I shrugged. That's easy. The ghost let out a piercing laugh. The old couple's body-body technique has been practiced for decades, and they've never failed. You think you can get me out? You little brat who hasn't even grown any hair yet. I said indifferently, turning to the crowd and ordering. Get me a pen and paper. Expert Li's forehead was sweating, and he couldn't help but feel a chill for him. Soon, the pen and paper were brought over. I picked up the pen and started drawing rapidly on the paper, occasionally letting out a low laugh. Everyone was very friendly. Chi then crowded around, craning his neck to look, but soon everyone showed expressions of astonishment because what I had drawn was actually Peppa Pig. I was quite satisfied with my work. Not bad. I had finished. Everyone was dumbfounded. Li Muxue couldn't help but scratch her head. Is this even possible? Even the ghost couldn't help but burst into laughter. Peppa Pig. I'm dying of laughter. I thought you could do something amazing. You were all bragging, but you're just a fool. I didn't care at all. A slight smile appeared on my lips. I picked up the flower and walked straight forward. Everyone was watching my every move. I pressed the cartoon drawing against the waiter's forehead. Ding. System enhancement activated. Peppa Pig drawing transformed into a Peppa Pig exorcism talisman. As soon as I finished speaking, the paper with Peppa Pig drawn on it shone brightly with golden light. Then, the ghost's miserable wails exploded in the private room. A light shone on the girl's head. A large amount of black mist billowed out, and a ghostly figure emerged from it, appearing in midair as an old man. The old man's face was filled with shock and confusion. You actually broke my protective spell. This is impossible. He couldn't understand how his secret technique, cultivated over decades, could be broken by a Peppa Pig doodle. The people behind him were equally shocked by this scene. They then began to seriously analyze the underlying principles. As soon as the old ghost left the girl's body, Ji Yinqing firmly controlled it. The possessed girl gradually regained her senses, but had already forgotten everything that had just happened. The commotion in the private room had attracted the attention of the waiters, who quickly called the hotel manager. A young man strode in and respectfully looked around. Hello. May I ask what happened just now? He pointed to an empty space. Nothing happened, just a ghost. Upon hearing this, the young man's mouth gaped open wide enough to fit an egg. This is no joke. Ji Yinqing waved his hand impatiently, and the old ghost's figure reappeared. Don't believe me? Look for yourself. The young man was so frightened that he took several steps back. There really is a ghost. I tapped the table to bring his attention back. What do you say we do now? We found a ghost in your hotel. The manager quickly waved his hand. Free meal. Of course it's free. And not only this time, but every time you come to eat here, it's free. I nodded in satisfaction. That's more like it. Then bring us a few more plates of lobster and king crab. We haven't finished eating yet. After the manager left, the group of researchers sat down again, still shaking. Ji Yunqing's gaze swept over everyone. It's no coincidence that we encountered a ghost today. Just now, I took some of the old ghost snacks. He was raised by an exiled organization and is just cannon fodder used to harass us. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone's expressions instantly changed. What? An exile organization is raising ghosts. That's terrifying. What should we do? It seems we've been targeted by the exile organization. Should we ask for protection? Kai Chihuahua frowned. There is indeed an exile organization in Lingshan City. We've been investigating them, but they're extremely cautious and rarely show themselves. These guys are masters of doing evil in the shadows. They're quite troublesome. Li Muxue turned to look at Ji Yunqing. Right? What's the origin of that ghost? Can we find the exile organization through it? Ji Yunqing shook his head. No. Although that ghost was raised by someone, its memories of the exile organization have been completely erased. Kai Chihuahua looked at him worriedly. The person who raised that ghost must be very strong, right? Could it be a powerful reinforcement sent by the exile organization? Ji Yunqing shook his head again. Not very strong. My initial assessment is around S rank or SS rank. Kai Chihuahua and the others were speechless after hearing this, their worries only intensifying.